Miguel Pupo showed that his dream is not coming to an end anytime soon, picking up a huge win to kick off the season with unbelievable backhand work, back-to-back days at Winky Pop, and he is able to call himself a forever Bells champion. It was an all-goofy foot battle as well with Yago Dora. Miguel got a big hug from Sammy Pupo, the rest of the Brazilian Storm, and got to wear the yellow jersey for the first time in his career. There wasn't a dry eye on the beach. Everyone's a big fan of Miguel Pupo as the human being, and obviously the unbelievable style and approach that he's brought to the tour for over a decade. He's number 2 in the world at the moment as he takes on Jack Robinson, who's up to number 15 on the live rankings as we're enjoying our day here in Manu Bay. Miguel Pupo on his front side this time, and Jack Robbo will be on his backhand. Joe Turpel and Vaughn Blakey here for the call. Vaughno, this is a classic, and we already got a start from Miggy Pupo.
Let's see what he can do. Career best form for the Brazilian veteran as he fangs down the line here at Manu Bay, and nice speedy little off the top. Whoa, wow, yeah. Well, I mean, 4 events in, and he's holding down number 2 on the rankings. He's actually moved up a space, and this is a great start to this heat, Joe. And Miguel Pupo, there's a little mistake, but he was feeling fast, wasn't he? There's no question about it. This guy has become a lot of people's new favourite surfer over the last 4 events in particular. You know, it's so easy to get in behind a story where you see a veteran, a journeyman, hit another gear and start to get results. Well, he's part of a camp right now that is on fire, and he's really enjoying his time on tour. Back up to number 2 in the world, though. I mean, at what point do we start thinking Miguel Pupo world champion?
Oh man, what a story that would be, you know, to continue the explosion of the Storm, and you know, with Yago, the recent addition to world champions and dominating the world tour, and the way Miguel Pupo's put together a career where he hasn't peaked yet. You know, he's not, you know, showing us the same old moves. He's gotten even sharper, even stronger. He always told us in the beginning of his career, he just leaned on his talent. He didn't really realize he had to work that hard in the gym and everywhere else to be on this tour. Once he started doing just as much hard work as everybody else, these results just kept growing.
And look what he's got for motivation. You know, he's got Sammy, who has reached another gear this year as well, and coach Adriano de Souza just feeling him with that grit, that self-belief that, you know, ADS was famous for. It's been a lot of fun. This has been a great year to watch Miguel Pupo. On the other side of the coin, we've got a world title contender who has yet to really fire and reach, you know, anywhere near his best. So Jack Robinson, you know, this is a big heat for him. This is the first comp where we've really seen him, I think, click, and it feels like he could get a massive result here as well.
Well, and I think the big thing for Jack is he hasn't really had to deal with this narrative going against him. He kind of caught fire quickly, and in a short period of time picked up so many wins on tour. You know, his win in Mexico was the last event of his rookie season. He needed to win that to really stay on tour at the time. Once that happened, he'd win everywhere, from Margaret River to G-Land to a Pipe Masters title. I think more wins than anyone else in a short space. So for him, coming off an enormous offseason, getting his...
I actually think even that just then is a good sign. Like, Jack is, well, he's otherworldly. Like, we call him the Vortex Shaman on Ain't That Swell, and it's kind of stuck. It's gone with him. But when he's in touch with the ocean and sort of in a position where he feels like he's got something to prove, that's when he's at his most dangerous.
Miguel Pupo starts with a 5.5. Fell on the last turn, but got a quick start, so Jack will have priority. Still just scored on your top 2 in these heats. You got the jet ski assist, and Robinson has that special relationship with the ocean. He's going to keep waiting while Miguel Pupo keeps surfing. Wave number 2 for the Brazilian. Getting down the line, he's got the wall opening up. He throws the tail to the sky and lands a reverse. Showing that he's still got it above the lip. Rookie season back in 2011. And number 2 in the world in 2026. Here at stop 4, carving through his points, but so explosive. On that start, risking it all. It was a type of maneuver Yago fell on a couple of times in his heat earlier today. This is the part where you wave to the water patrol, then throw a couple of bonus turns. He'll turn around to see Jack Robinson in motion. Jack with the carve. Always patient in that style. Real comfortable body mechanics, always easy to watch. He'll have to try to paddle his way into this double up, and he'll line up the Red Bull ski as well to get out the back. We caught up to him already going down the line, but so far it's just feeling a clear advantage for Miguel Pupo on his last wave.
Yeah, it was a nice ride from Pupo. His body energy feels good, doesn't it? Like he's getting these waves that are sort of hugging the point really well, which is allowing him to go fast. And in the flat sections, you know, he doesn't look boggy. He doesn't look weighed down. He looks quite loose and fast. But when he does get something that stands up, he can throw those fins, and that's a really cool point of difference.
Kaipo, how did it look for you?
I love the opening exchange. I think the flare factor might go to Miggy on that one with that outside maneuver, but Jack looking really solid with the fundamentals. But this is such an evenly, as far as the surfing ability and what you've seen in the free surfs from these two surfers, this is a very evenly, this is a very even matchup. So, but I do think that Miggy had a little bit more flair in there, but there's so much more to go. What I'm liking to see right now, too, is there are these lulls, but when the sets come, it looks like there's more power out here, a little bit more wave energy.
Yeah, good call, Kaipo. Watching the fins and the flare start from Miguel Pupo, getting that board way out of the wave, and landing in transition is fun. Sometimes there's, you know, beach breaks where you see a clear ramp on a point break like this. You can see how guys like Miguel, Italo, Gabriel, Yago, they can see a section and just throw it out. But the inversion of Miguel's frontside air hasn't changed since he was a grommet.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? That's a good point, mate. We saw Yago actually do an off-ramp, sort of full rotation air rev on day one. These things are more nose pick, tail waft. You'll see it here. He's fanging down the line. Oh, well, it's a right in the middle, that one, but a beautiful projection from Miguel Pupo, and then it's back to the rail on the way through onto the inside. But you can just see, you know, like the guy is that fit. He's so full of confidence. There's just no downtime on these waves, even when they slow up. So real cool. Now have a close look at this. Nose pick. Hucks the tail into the air. You'll see the front foot slide down to the nose of the board, and then that'll dig in and allow him to ride out as he shifts his weight back. And this is what Jack Robbo got done out the back. And that was nice. Good little stab, and he backs it up into a power carve. So there was some work done there, and even that little pivot. And Jack's up for this. I think he's feeling like he's finally found some momentum. Lots of changes for Jack in the off-season, Joe, and so with lots of changes comes, you know, a lot of space to have to find that rhythm, find that pathway. It's not as simple as the changes are going to work straight away.
It was great to see the start of Jack's wave there, because that's where he did the most damage before we caught up to him, when he had to fade with those cutbacks and then call for the ski. Jack a 6, Pupo a 6.83. Let's now hear from Italo Ferreira with True.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe. Italo, that was a 15.9 combination that you got in that heat, the highest heat total that you've had of the year so far. More to come?
I hope, yeah, for sure. I'm so glad to have some nice waves. Even like take a long time for the sets, you know, but I try to ride the little double up that we can do like combination of maneuver, you know, and have like some good scores. And then I try to like getting better and better in every single ride. And then, yeah, I'm so glad to make that one.
We saw a bit of a change up in equipment from Felipe a little bit earlier on, getting a 2+1. Has that factored in your equipment, or are you just sticking to what you know?
Yeah, I had a new board right now. It's a little bit smaller than the other one. I feel like you can move a little bit fast, you know, and then you can have like a little bit more volume on that. So make it like a little bit quick on a transition, and then you can stay on top of the water a little bit more, because it's really like slow and that is not too much power on a wave. And you try to every time doing like some nice big hits on a wave. So I felt good on that board. I had one session last night and this morning, and I had, okay, I'm gonna try on a heat. That's why I don't have a lot of all those stickers on the board, and I try to write, and then I was like so fun last night. But yeah, I make it happen, so this is important too.
We were talking before as well, you know, about the waves and how some of the bigger ones go wide, some of those smaller ones hit the bank and hug those rocks. How important is it to identify those good ones out there on a day like today when it's slow?
Yeah, on a high tide you can see a little bit better than on a low tide, because on a low tide you take off in a white water and then you try to find, you know, if it's good or not. But on a high tide you can see the wave turn a little bit, and then this is a good one to hit back to back. And then goes on a bank a little bit more easier, you know, and then that's what I'm looking for on that hit, and then I find some good one on the end. So I'm so glad to have that one.
As well, the crowd here, everyone's showing up for you, Italo. You're walking in and there's cheers, there's claps, there's big smiles. How special is it to be here in New Zealand?
Yeah, it's a really cool place here. We have been enjoy a little bit, you know, and especially on the last couple 4 days, we're driving around, we surf, we had like a lot of different session and beach break, and having super fun. I tried different boards, and I tried to save my 510, and I was like to the team part some guy and talked to some guys in Brazil too. I was like, hey bro, I need 2 more boards, you know, because I'm almost done, because we're traveling for like 2 months already, you know, and all my small board has been done. And then I was like, fuck, I need a little bit more like equipment to keep improving, you know. And I'm so glad to be here to still surfing and make it happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Italo. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, True. It takes a village, doesn't it? And he's stoked to be getting boards from Timmy Patterson. What a story that was. You know, we always know about Tico and Teco, the brothers from Brazil that have been building boards for him for a long time. They learned so much from Timmy Patterson, so they've got a team there, but their team's global. They've got a guy named Simon Jones over here in New Zealand that whipped out that synthetic 84 Timmy Patterson model for him, and it paid off. Look at this open wall for Miguel Pupo. Tracking in the pocket. Throwing some big carves, similar to what we saw from Iago earlier today. Nice easy tempo and pace on that JS Industries. Gets out in front, finds the pocket to play with there. His low scores of 5.5 at the moment. But he identified a nice wall here at Manu Bay that's still running towards the boat ramp. Nice snap there off the lip line. Tight snap again out front, punches the fins out into reverse to mix it up. A point to the crowd as we'll catch up with Jack Robinson. Attacking his points, pushing hard. And the backhander from WA likes the way that one felt. With that showing us that he probably did some damage out the back as well, Vaughn.
What a heat. This is an arm wrestle. And these guys are locked in. Miguel Pupo is finding incredible rhythm with this Manu Bay point right now. He looks fantastic. He's got such freedom on the wave face. And that variety that we saw Iago bring earlier is clearly inspiring him. I mean, he's got a flawless tempo for this wave. He's matching it beautifully, but I'm so curious to see what Jack got up to on the back. Let's stick with Miguel first. So he's deep, and look at the speed. That is just a beautiful line into that beautiful, like, huge open face carve. Jams the second one, and that is just a really lovely bit of surfing here from the Brazilian. And this wave kept on giving too. It's like a little sleepy through this middle bit, but really cool that he got a few bonus sections onto the inside. And even these little turns, Joey, just such flair there. Kicks the tail, just reminds the judges that, yeah, that little sleepy bit didn't really mean a whole lot. Puts a stamp on it out the back with heaps of speed. He'll slide the tail here, Jack Robbo, and straight into the combination. And you know that he's feeling good on that. That was 3 rapid fire turns. The wave goes a little flat and he'll get to work. But he's feeling like something is clicking here, Jack Robbo. Just for himself, that little fist pump. You know, he's happy with the way that the opening part of this wave went. Gets another couple of little bonuses down the end. A little float. Jams it. And right through all the way down to the boat ramp where the Red Bull skis are waiting. Good exchange. Really good. I mean, we've got a battle here.
And just in between waves as well, as you notice at the start, Vaughn, Jack's getting off his board and laying down in the water. We know how much these guys focus in the Red Bull athlete zone, but in the middle of a heat, when he can actually get off his board, lay down, it's like that float take therapy, when you have the water above your ears and you could just really lock in. He's doing that in the middle of the matchup with Miguel, which, even though he's being peaceful about it, for a guy like Miguel, he might be like, what is going on with Jack?
Yeah, there it is. I mean, it's incredible just sort of how many different modalities there are for these crew to sort of manage their emotions. You know, for Jack, it might just be about slowing down the heart rate, getting into the rhythm of the ocean. But that's a big score that's just dropped for Miguel Pupo, a 7.83. That's near excellence.
And now waiting on the last of Jack Robinson. And just while we wait for that score, remember quarterfinals coming up next with Gabriela, Bryan, and Alyssa Spencer. For all of our fans watching on YouTube, those streams will stop at the end of this heat. A new live stream will start for the quarterfinals and beyond. For everyone in Brazil, coverage will continue exclusively on worldsurfleague.com, the WSL app, and Globoplay. And for fans in the U.S., coverage will continue exclusively on worldsurfleague.com, the WSL app, and ESPN+. 16:25 to go, numbers in for Jack. It's a 6.5. Miguel 7.83. Bit of separation there. Pupo out front with priority, eyeing up this wave here at Manu Bay. Miguel Pupo locks in, and he stumbles. Priority goes straight to Jack Robinson.
That's huge. That is huge. Jack Robbo has... It's not that he's out of rhythm. It's that he's playing second fiddle to Miguel's priority. So, like, Miguel's had his choice of the waves. He's used them beautifully, and he's built a substantial lead, an 8.16. That fall puts the power back in Jack Robinson's pocket. So he's going to have to use it now. He knows that Miguel is not quite running away with it, but building beautifully. And that is the exact moment he's been waiting for.
Wow, will that be a turning point in this heat for rhythm? Miguel just owning the heat with points and priority, then a stumble. De Souza is trying to get him to reset. To have a short-term memory there, and now just opt a new game plan mentally. Still got the lead, and he has to forget about that big mistake.
It's huge, isn't it? That wave really looked nice too. It was a steeper one that sort of sat up onto the point, and it's just a little bump just brought him undone, and really uncharacteristic for how he's been surfing in this one. He's been in such control. So door swings open. Robbo goes back into Zen mode. He wants to connect here. He wants to feel this next set.
And you got a few indicators out there when you know a wave's coming, so he knows how much time he has in between sets. Jack taking advantage of just a moment to lay down and just take in the deep breaths. For Jack, the way he believes in himself and an energy type of guy, he probably knows that's the gift he was hoping for. Just those little priority changes. Jack will just inflate on that with confidence, knowing that things might be turning around to his side.
Oh, it's such a good point. He really is a creature of energy. If it's going his way, he can utilize that to really put the foot down. If his back's against the wall, he has this incredible ability to just conjure something out of nothing, whether it's a miracle wave, a miracle move. He loves the fight. So little mistakes like that, you're absolutely right, Joe. He will feel really positive about that, almost as if it was his doing.
13:45 on the clock. Are things turning for Australia's Jack Robinson? He has priority, chasing an 8.16, but current world number 2 in the live rankings. Miguel Pupo's been smooth with finesse. Take a Bonsoy brew break. The Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy is brought to you by Corona Cero, made with 100% natural ingredients. By Bonsoy, the official milk of the World Surf League. By IC Sunglasses, official eyewear of the Championship Tour. And by Tourism New Zealand, official strategic partner of the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy.
Welcome back to the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy. Now, the men's round of 16 is coming to an end. So, True and I thought we would look forward to the women's quarterfinals. Bootsy, True, which one are you looking forward to most?
JJ Noodles. It's that first one up there. Gabby Bryan and Alyssa Spencer is going to be a sick one. I mean, the backhand power of Gabby Bryan mixed with that front side attack of Alyssa Spencer is going to be huge. What about you? Tell me.
I'm really looking forward to heat number 3. Molly Picklum, Bettylou, Sakura Johnson. I really feel like those two really evenly matched. Both have had really good wave selection as well. So a little bit of competitive fire there. And of course, heat number 4, Truzy.
Well, CM squared. Jesse and I are going to be talking through that one as well.
And if you had to pick a winner for heat number 4?
Carissa Moore.
Okay, I'm going to go for Caroline. Heard it here first, guys.
Love the breakdown from the Starling sisters as we go right into live action with Miguel Pupo flowing down the line. We did have Jack lose priority when we went to break. We'll get you caught up with that. This is why Miguel had this opportunity. So a quick stumble from Miguel. Jack had priority, handed it right back to Pupo. And he's not done with it yet. Takes advantage of the downtime to cruise, but then he knows there's more of a lip to hit here. Wow, really lost control of his board there. Trying to force the punt. And also trying to force improvement. His low score of 6.83 was in the back of his mind there. So interesting stage of this heat, Vaughn. We almost thought maybe Jack would catch the rhythm of getting that priority in his favor, and apparently he passed it right back to Pupo.
This is unbelievable. We don't know what's happened yet. We'll have a look, but at 1.5, so Jack elected to go something. That handed Miguel the last wave we just saw on screen, and it was a howler. You'd have to think his 7.83 was a pretty good ride. It had a similar sort of characteristics to that. This could be a real heavy one for Jack Robinson as we wait for these scores to lock in now.
Let's see what happened here. This is the move that Jack made during the break.
So he gets the high line. He comes off the bottom. He throws up a little backside. Oh, the wave just goes wide on him. So it was no mistakes, really. It was just a wave that wouldn't stand up like this one did. And Miguel Pupo is unleashing, leaning into the rail. Formula One carve down. And he has really made Jack Robinson pay here. He'll stick with this one right through, and it looks like the score could be coming through now, Joe.
Miguel Pupo taking advantage of, well, Jack's just wave selection, really, which sometimes can only be broken down in hindsight. But Jack had to kick out. That allowed Pupo to just throw down some unbelievable frontside rail work on the open face. I see a 7.13 to go with his 7.83. Jack now needs a bigger score, an 8.46 to crack the quarterfinals. So much on the line in this one, Vano, with the yellow jersey, of course. Gabriel Medina out this morning to Felipe. If Miguel Pupo makes the quarters, Gabriel will lose the yellow jersey into El Salvador, since Miguel is number 2 in the world at the moment. We'll keep you, up to date with that. Yago's still in the mix. Some other scenarios for yellow will continue. But if Miguel does win this heat, the yellow jersey will trade hands. And then for Jack, it's all about salvaging his world title campaign this year. And for him, just being winless at this stage, trying to really put himself into a high gear in the world title race. A round 3 loss would be devastating moving forward.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Robbo in his last heat looked spectacular. It honestly felt like something had clicked. But in this heat, it's wave selection really the difference. Miguel's just had waves that are allowing him to bring that new energy that he's found this year to the fall. He looks fast, he looks loose, he looks like he's having a ball. And now Jack is under pressure. And there's a lot of decision-making that needs to be done. That set let him down. So how does he find the wave that's going to give him that big score? I feel like he'd be backing himself no matter what, because, you know, he's done it 1,000 times before. But there is a funny little feeling around this event at the moment, Joe. You know, with Medina out, it's changed the narrative. It's changed the atmosphere around this event. You know, even without a win this year, Medina's performances have felt like everyone's chasing him down. Well, with 2 early exits in a row now, you can just start to see everyone feeling like there's an opportunity brewing.
Well, it's a crazy opportunity created by getting a stacked heat like Felipe versus Medina so early in the contest. That's supposed to be finals. In fact, that's been the world title showdown in the Final 5 scenario in the past. To get giants meeting up in round 3 and in back-to-back events, it's big for surfing, but it's huge for the rivals in the world title race. They're like, thank goodness one of those guys are gone early, creating some points at the top of the rankings.
Yeah, you're so right. And there's, like I say, there's a feeling in that Red Bull Athlete Zone that this contest is crucial and really presenting a gateway to a world title run. I'm looking at, you know, the best performers, the biggest performers at the moment. You're looking at Italo, you're looking at Miggy, you're looking at Iago, and Philippe is making a real run as well. Griffin's still alive in this event. Every single name there is looking at this and going, okay, this is where I get my world title firing up another level.
And you just look at those guys, just goofy foot Brazilians coming for the top, you know. The leader still, Medina. Miguel's got to win this heat to jump into that #1 spot on the live rankings. Iago Dora's been absolutely brilliant. The joy of them being on their front side, it's clear. It's not just about airs, it's about how much variety they have. Even their open face power hooks have really been standing out. Jack 15th in the world on the live rankings, chasing that 8.46. Rio Waida, incredible backhand. He's got Morgan Siblick in the next round.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun heat to watch, and both those guys will be using that opportunity to get themselves as far away from the bottom of the draw as possible. They want to be, you know, making a move for the top 10. You know, Rio has made no secret about it. He said to me in a post-heat interview, like, I'm here to win this comp. Like, that's my goal. And I feel like Morgan's in the exact same boat. They're not looking at quarters. They're not looking at semis. They want to get into that final and they want to win the thing. And I think that's on the back of, you know, like seeing Miguel Pupo and Georgie Pitar come through. You know, like not necessarily people who command your attention when you look at the top 5 from the past 5 years, but certainly surfers with the talent to win comps, and they've done that, and now everyone on tour is suddenly going, hang on a minute. You know, Georgie Pitar's run through Margaret River is probably the best example of that. Like, every single Brazilian world champion, he got through them to win that comp. So, you know, there's a lot of fire after seeing that.
For sure, definitely fired up. The Aussie contingent, Morgan Siblick talked to you about that earlier. Seeing George win made him so motivated, as he's the only one remaining that came from round 1. Chasing this wave down is Miguel Pupo. It actually rolls underneath him, and Adriano's kind of signaling with him to
stay on him. Stay on him. You know, Miguel looking at that wave then. What's his top 2 rides there? A 7.83 and a 7.13. Adriano's saying, no, keep to the job at hand. You know, we want to apply pressure to Jack here. The more he's feeling it, the harder it's going to be for him to open up on any opportunity that comes his way.
Oh, Adriano de Souza, one of the greats, world champion in 2015, bringing the exact same intensity as a coach in this part of his surfing career, and had to do it the hard way. Adriano said, I was never on page 1 of any mags. I was never invited on those cool movie trips. People were upset with me the way I approached heats. And, you know, he said, well, sorry about that if I offended you along the way. But he also became so well-rounded. He looked at every wave at a place where he could change his surfing. He bowed down to his heroes like Kelly and Mick and Joel and everyone, and he learned how to beat them as well when everything was on the line.
And he was a much respected and highly celebrated world champion. Like, nobody loves seeing people do well and people who have to work their guts out for it. Man, that guy put his nose to the grindstone, went all out Cyborg to get it done. You know, that Mick Fanning mode where there's no stone left unturned. If there's something he could do to win that world title, he'd do it. And at the end of the day, you know, when he lifted that trophy, fans of pro surfing all over the world stood up and applauded because they were like, yeah, we can back that. We can back that work ethic to get it done.
Now, great coach backing Miguel Pupo, keeping him invested. Miguel's such a nice guy. His filmer Bruno will joke around. He's like, okay, if it's crowded, everyone's saying hi to Miguel. Even though he's practicing, he's going to chat to everybody in the lineup, and I might have 4 waves to edit later. You know, he just said that's just Miguel. He's gonna have a chat. He's gonna say hi. He's gonna take that time to enjoy where he's in the lineup. And you know, filmers sometimes will be like, hey, let's catch a few more waves. So, you know, let's warm up. But he's got a great family type atmosphere around him on the road. Does it for his whole family back home in Brazil. Proud father. And with 1:10 on the clock, pressure is on Jack Robinson to chase down an 8.46.
This is huge. This is such a big story playing out right now. Jack is willing so hard any lump of swell to come his way, but it kind of needs to be a decent one, an 8.46. If you think about the waves today that have garnered a score in that region, they've been sets. You know, we're not seeing people surf up at one of those in-betweeners. It has to be a solid wave and it has to be attacked.
40 seconds to go. Keep your eyes on the horizon. There's a shallow part way out the back with the bathymetry of the ocean floor where you could kind of see some lines pick up early and then bend right into Manu Bay. 27 seconds for Jack Robinson to break free and make it into a finals day. Currently number 15 in the world. Glances at his Apple Watch. He definitely had the opportunities in this heat. Priority mix-ups on both of their sides, and Miguel Pupo ended up with a 7.13 on his last, a 7.83, and he will take the yellow jersey from Gabriel Medina. At the moment, as he moves on into the quarterfinals, Jack Robinson will prepare for Punta Roca and El Salvador. Things just get better and better for Miguel Pupo this year as he's moving on. All of our fans once again watching on YouTube, that stream will stop right now at the end of this heat. A new live stream will start for the quarterfinals and beyond. For everyone in Brazil, coverage will continue exclusively on WorldSurfLeague.com, the WSL app, and Global Play. For fans in the U.S., coverage will continue exclusively on WorldSurfLeague.com, the WSL app, and ESPN+. Quarterfinals coming up next. Gabriela Bryan taking on Alyssa Spencer, followed by Tyler Wright and Sawyer Lindblad, setting up what could be a finals day as early as tomorrow. A lot of action coming up next, right after this break. Gabriela Bryan kicked off the season ringing a big bell for the first time in her career and kicked off the season world #1. And Vaughn, this always made sense that she would be a Bells champion. It happened to start off the season this year.
It was an amazing performance. And, you know, after last year, wow, yeah, she Rang that bell all right. It was ringing in all our ears when the board collided with the lip just then. Yeah, it was a commanding performance, and it was a great start to the year for Gabriela too, who, you know, after last year did make the WSL finals, got run down by, well, not run down, just didn't get the chance to really open up and perform how she wanted to. Molly Picklum, of course, goes on to win that world title, but this year, Gabriela looks like a woman on a mission.
She's taken on Alyssa Spencer in this first quarterfinal heat. Then we'll have Tyler Wright and Sawyer Lindblad. That'll be fun. Tyler Wright is ready to put her hand up in the veterans movement to get a big monumental CT win. It's been a while for Tyler. And then we've got Molly Picklum, Bettylou, one of the best young rivalries we've had on tour. It was 6-0 in Molly's favor till last year. Bettylou picked up 2 wins over Molly. She turned them into 2 CT event wins at the same time. And then Carissa Moore, Caroline Marks, that was for a world title a few years ago. Caroline upset Carissa when Carissa Moore was in the yellow jersey for the majority of the season. Chris said she had to go into almost a grieving period of time after losing the world title that year. So much left in the final series today. Gabriela, Bryan, Alyssa Spencer as we fly in. See Jack Robinson moving on to the boat ramp. And see our big stage here, that is Manu Bay. Sitting deepest is Alyssa Spencer in blue. The goofy foot from Southern California will get the first wave. Often part of the orders from her coach, Chris Gallagher. Start off with conviction. Right there, she has a little float coming from behind this section. Will she be too deep? And she will be.
Yeah, well, Alyssa has been in incredible form here in New Zealand. Like, she's connected with this wave. We've seen a lot of surfers really find a beautiful tempo with this place. She's one of those surfers, and a 3rd place at Bells. She's in really good form too. I mean, she has been surfing so well since re-qualifying for the tour. And Gally and Alyssa seem to have just unlocked a new level in her surfing. The confidence is really on show this year, Joe. She's admitted that in post-heat interviews. She's feeling just so much, you know, so much more at home on this tour, and it's there for us to see in the scores that she's been laying down.
There's a lot of turning points in surfers' careers where you're getting kicked off the CT. Sometimes that's a way to be like, okay, I'm moving on. I'm going to figure out something else to do. Sometimes it's an opportunity to come back stronger, and Alyssa is a great example of that, of getting those reps in early, realizing what she wanted to improve on, and she's brought more power and even just more confidence to her game, and she's now trusting her instincts because it's all paying off. The 3rd place that she got at Bells was her best ever, and she got more 8s than she ever had in a CT contest. Right there, that was the backing she needed for how good she was feeling on the inside.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a couple of little stumbles here, Margaret River and the Goldie. But since she's been in New Zealand, she's been a standout. Like, if she's in the water, you notice her. Like, she's surfing so well. She's going to have to lean on the flow and the variety, because once Gabriela gets a wave, what you're going to notice is big backside blasts. Like, very strong on the backhand, can punch it vertical through the lip, and that is a real point of difference in the way that these two will approach the wave. So Alyssa's going to be down the line, speedy, calves, maybe a couple of little tail blows. She'll be relying primarily on that down the line speed and rail engagement to get her points, whereas I think Gabriela is just going to go really hard at the lid.
Great breakdown, Vano, paddling for this one. Alyssa Spencer will have a look. And it just rolls on through. Gabriela Bryan's looking more interested in getting this quarterfinal started. Couple of big paddles, and she will not catch up to the wave. Alyssa will pick it up, having better positioning down the line. Throws down the wrap, nice speed off the bottom, but ends up incomplete. Priority goes right back to Gabby.
Wow, well, I thought Alyssa might make Gabby pay then. That one looked like it was standing up beautifully, but it did sort of back off just a touch, and Alyssa forced to push the tail extra hard just to get the judges up and about, and yeah, that one just runs off without her, but out the back now, Gabriela.
Gabriela Bryan trying to catch up to this wave, so moved her positioning a little further to the inside. Already has a snap. And there's the carve. Another just setup turn to hug the pocket. The wall's starting to move a little bit. A little sticky on that one. Ooh. So this one is going to leave her behind.
Tricky start. Tricky start for both women. But there's lines, like there's plenty of energy in the ocean here at Manu Bay. And Gabriela, I think she's doing a bit of work with Matt Scoringe, a great local surfer, Joey. And an elite level coach, has been working at the top level with athletes for many years now. And you know, for Gabriela, sorry mate, go.
Yeah, we've got Alyssa Spencer now tracking down the line, bit of foam on the face from the previous set, but she's finding some good moments in the pocket. Pushes the board all the way around on that one. So nice little cutbacks, pushing hard off the lip when she sees it. Good vision being on her front side here, throwing it in the pocket again. Alyssa finds a lip to hit, smashes that section, and then steps off. And she's stoked to have the water patrol on hand to get it right out the back. They don't go into the impact zone. See her paddling over towards deeper water. And then she'll hop on the Red Bull ski. The only time you'd see a water patrol go into the impact zone is just for safety reasons. They're always making sure they're not putting wake into the face. All of them absolutely rip and spend a ton of time in the ocean. Big thanks to the entire crew. Organized by local legend DK as we look at Gabby on her last.
Yeah, so this one unfortunately didn't allow Gabby to square up and use her best weapon, and that is the big backside vertical punch. So yeah, just a little sticky on that one. But right behind her, this was the wave that Alyssa's been waiting for, because it had a little bit more, didn't it? A steeper face and a couple of moments that really stand out. So some work there. That was a good little jam. Loads this one up and really pushes onto the back foot. And that's going to feel much better after a pretty wobbly start. You know, a 1.5, a 2.33. The waves are not giving a whole lot to work with, but even that little turn on the end there, you know, tight in the pocket, compresses low, gets a big fan of spray coming off, and she'll feel much, much better about that.
6.0 for Alyssa Spencer to go with her 2.33. As she has the lead at the moment over Gabby Bryan. Let's check in with Miguel Pupo with Jesse Starling.
First ever head-to-head matchup with Jack Robinson. You got the win. It's 1-0, and it was quite the battle between you guys, but to finally meet up against someone like Jack and get a win straight away, it's definitely a confidence booster.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Jack has been on fire in the last, I don't know, 5 years, and yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough match. I had to give my best, and I was in the right waves, which it was really nice to surf. I had the bigger waves, so it's just a matter of placing the right turns and finishing off strong, and which I did, so I'm pretty happy.
Give the fans at home a little bit of an insight, because you came in, you're really tired because the waves are really long. It can take energy out of you here.
Yeah, it does. I got like maybe 4 to 5 waves in a row all the way to the boat ramp, so yeah, and then the ski takes you back out in like a minute, so I had no time to breathe, and yeah, just really tired, but happy to be in the quarters. It was a really important heat for me on my race, you know, against Gabe, and Gabe lost earlier, so it was an opportunity for me to maybe move ahead, but it's still a lot of work to do, and let's see what tomorrow brings.
Being in the quarterfinals, that's another really big keeper result for you, especially backing up a win that you already got down at Bells. It's against Italo, your quarterfinal. He's currently 5-1 head-to-head, so Italo has 5, you've got 1. You want to get another one back on him, though. Does it feel like you're channeling that Bells feeling here?
I'm trying to, yeah. I've been watching other Bells footage to bring some energy. You know, it's a far stop. Everyone's gassed out. You know, it's been a long leg, and I'm tired too. But it's the last event. We gotta push until all the way to the end. And Italo is so gnarly. He's a great competitor, great air guy, and which I was trying a few airs in my heat too. So maybe I can get a couple in the next heat. But it will be a tough battle anyways, and I can't wait.
And of course, we have to let you say hi to your girls back home.
Valeu, galera. Amo vocês, meu pai, minha mãe, minha família, minha esposa, minhas crianças. Logo mais, pai tá aí.
Tamo junto, amigui.
Tamo junto.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, JJ. Tamo junto is one of our favorite sayings when we're in Brazil. You know, it can mean like we're all in this together. It's really bringing that good vibe for Miguel Pupo, being connected to his family, but also all of his great fans that have been backing him since day one in Brazil. He did mention the length of this leg of the tour, you know, connected to the Aussie treble as we just hopped over the Tasman here to Aotearoa, or New Zealand. And you could start seeing that little wear and tear, you know, even with Italo scrambling to get boards. There hasn't been that real clear, obvious break to take a breath and reset. It reminds me of that feeling that we had in 2021 in the shortened season during that Aussie quaddie when we got to stop 4, which was Wajamup or Rottnest at the time. You could see everyone starting to go, okay, I might need like a week off, you know, just to reset for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the great things about this event, though, has been that we've had a few lay days with perfect weather. And a few surfers have said, you know, it was so nice to just chill and go sightseeing and get the absolute best out of this incredible place. Because, yeah, New Zealand is it's just so beautiful. There's so much to do. But, yeah, it was welcome reprieve from just the grind. Especially, you know, the Gold Coast was almost like an explosion of energy. It was just back to back to back. Surf was cooking, and it was a high volume of people and atmosphere and everything. And this has just been welcomed, especially now that we've got swell pulsing into Manu Bay again.
Gabriela Bryan setting up her backhand, trying to be patient with her timing on this one. On a mid-face bottom turn, waiting for the ledge to kind of give her more of a bowl here. And she's forced to just keep that rail just back and forth with her carves off the top. She knows she wants to just rip the lip line to pieces, but it kind of held her back there just by the shape of the wave. Shoving that first turn in the pocket is Alyssa Spencer, and she decides to kick out early to try to get priority.
Yeah, the tide's coming up here. I did like some good moments on Gabriela's ride. As I was saying earlier, Joe, you know, she's employed the help of a guy who is from this place, Matty Scoringe, and she's done that right throughout the tour. You know, look to locals, look to local knowledge to get an advantage over her rivals, and she identified a good wave here. That first turn, lost the fins out the back, slowed her up a little bit, but then bang off the top. And that was a really clean combination. So off the bottom, off the top, with power. It's not as smooth as Alyssa Spencer's last wave, but there was some very nice moments in it. And you'd have to say there was a little power advantage with Gabriela's off the top. That one turn was really nice.
So now with 20 minutes on the clock, Alyssa had the 6, Gabby Bryan and Lee seeing a 5.34. And rankings update, remember Luana Silva will already exit out in smaller conditions. Missed a turn that could have been the difference in the heat. It was that close. But in the live rankings, you already see Gabriela Bryan taking the jump into #1. So Lulu will have to give up that yellow jersey once we get to El Salvador. Molly Picklum still in the mix. Remember, she has Bettylou in Q3. She's moved up a spot to #3 in the world with a chance to overtake Lulu as well if she goes further into finals day. Sawyer Lindblad's coming up next, up a spot into world #5 as she has Tyler Wright coming up next. And Chris and Caroline in heat together. They're right next to each other on the live rankings.
Wow, yeah, this world title race is really shaping up nicely. Anyone can strike from anywhere, especially with that pipeline event at the end of the year having you know, 1.5 points on it, 15,000. So Alyssa Spencer, she's keeping her campaign going here in New Zealand. And there's Tyler Wright, who is also looking for her best result in lefts in quite some time. It's I think I do recall she won a world title in Portugal going left one year. It was
oh, that's right, France. Yeah,
France. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
It was a really classic day. Remember that? She wore her brother's jersey in the final. She was taking off switchfoot on that left. That was a fantastic moment for Tyler Wright, working with Glenn Micro Hall at the time. Actually had to take her headphones out of her ear to be like, you've done it, because she was so locked in. And then she just started the celebration early. Didn't even worry about winning that final heat. Scores in for last of Gabriela Bryan, a 5.5. Alyssa, a 4.83. Here comes Alyssa Spencer with some wall here at Manu Bay. Big jam to start things off. Overhead, out the back with a ton of pace. Throws the wrapping cut back. The Californian in sync at the moment. She's got this one just pushing down this beautiful little point break. Hugging this pocket. Will she get a little double up here towards the boat ramp? We'll find out. She's doing all the right moves to go the distance here. Nice tight jam off the top. There's the bowl she was waiting for. Taking this one all the way down to the bow ramp. Belting it one more time. What a read from Alyssa Spencer. Showing the world that she's not just good with her backhand attack that brought her to the third at Winky Pop. A goofy foot's dream as she finishes her 5th wave in this quarterfinal.
Sensational wave from Alyssa Spencer. That was down the line. Hooning. Look at this. This is a dreamy one coming through Manu Bay and gets off to a flying start with a good little jam in the pocket. Engages the rail. And this wave is pretty as a picture. She's really been able to identify a scoring opportunity out here, Alyssa Spencer. And, man, just surfing. A lot of rhythm on this wave. And even in the downtime, just staying busy. But the bonus section on the inside as we start to head down towards the boat ramp. Look at this. I mean, that looks like boat trip quality stuff. Yeah, there's a few lumps, but it's dreamy out here right now.
Great job from the team, and Sammy Smith capturing the water vision for us. As you see her just compressing through every point, and what a view she'd have of all the fans who change their place throughout the day. I've noticed, you know, some will be on the takeoff to start, and then maybe the back end of the day they're down towards the boat ramp to watch a different angle of the wave. We're thankful to have an incredible crew of camera operators capturing one of the longest waves on tour.
It gets condensed up there at high tide because a lot of crew are actually down on the rocks at low tide, just enjoying it, getting up close and personal. But when the tide comes in, the waves are breaking over where the spectators are sitting at low tide. So it's really cool. But this has been a beautiful day, Joe. We've had really fun waves, some incredible performances, and we're just waiting on a score now to lock in for both surfers. It's funny, the 5.5 for Gabriela Bryan, like a lot of those points came for just one maneuver. So, you know, keep that in mind if she gets a ride that'll go the distance.
Another look at the backhand of Gabby Bryan here.
Hooks it under the lip. And a big, powerful combo as this one starts to stand up. And even the carve back just throws so much water around. So this one did swing wide, and that didn't allow Gabriela to really punch through that inside section for the bonus points. Alyssa's, on the other hand, went mad.
So Alyssa caught that really long wave. That's what Gabriela Bryan did out the back, while Alyssa was still finishing up that really long wave. That just factored in. Alyssa had a 6.0 on wave number 3, and now a 7.5 to add to it. What a run for the goofy footer. She's familiar now with the final series, getting that third to start the season. Recovered from back-to-back 17ths. I see the score lock in with even an 8 thrown the panel. And now a nice lead over current world number 1 on the live rankings. Gabby Bryan, the shorter wave out the back, is her best so far, a 5.97. She was able to kick out and get priority back, so now chasing a 7.53. Alyssa Spencer trying to create a big upset in the first quarterfinal here of the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy. We'll be right back.
to the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy. We have pumping waves down here at New Zealand, and we'll be able to get amongst so much fun in the late A's. But now that we're back in action down here, one thing that you'll quickly learn about my sister and I is if we don't have coffee before 8 or 9 a.m., things can go a little sideways. However, Raglan Roast has been supplying the goods since we've been here in New Zealand.
Yeah, we kind of turned into gremlins, but luckily enough for us, Raglan Roast, they roast their own beans here in New Zealand. That's why it's such a little cup of goodness in the mornings. It's a great way to start the day and get into the surfing.
What a great way to start the day with the Starling sisters as well. Thank you, Jesse and True.
I get a ride to the comp with Truzy Boots and JJ Noodle every morning, and it's their right when there's no coffee. They get gremlin.
As we watch some weaving happening here from Alyssa Spencer. Enjoying these long running lefts here in Manu Bay. The tide is pretty much full. And Rio mentioned that earlier today, that how much the wave can change with the tidal push. That was really fast. We're talking, you know, in feet at least, all the way up to a 9-foot high tide throughout the day today, pushing really fast as we look at her last wave here.
So Alyssa Spencer is just finding it, the rhythm of this wave. And even though this wave isn't as steep as her last one, her rail looks more committed. She's driving through the face here, the lumpy face, with more commitment. And the way that she's linking her turns is super impressive. How high will that score go? I don't know, but I love what she's doing on that wave. And you know, as the tide fills in, you'd have to say that the advantage is swinging more towards Alyssa. This down-the-line speed that she's able to access, you know, the slope on the face, she can engage the rail, she can accelerate through the turns. And Gabriela Bryan is going to need something tall and with a bit more pocket so she can unleash her best weapons.
Well said, Vano. Yeah, those backside wraps aren't as visually impressive to the panel when it's really full on the face, or Alyssa might have more options like she's shown just with her visual on her front side, hugging the pocket from climbs to snaps more. She has a bit of vis there that she can really lean into. More specifics on the tide. It's 2:40 p.m. local time. It's peaking high in about 10 minutes. So it was low at 841.8 meter to a 2.8 meter high tide.
Huge swing.
So that's in feet, 2.62 feet low this morning to a over 9 feet high tide in about 10 minutes.
It's been a joy, actually, hanging out with the Starling girls. I'm good friends with their mum and dad. I actually hung out with them when we were their age, the girls.
Classic.
Daniel and Megsy, g'day, mate. G'day, guys. How you going? But yeah, it's just a joy to share not just the comms, but you know, all the joys of New Zealand with True and JJ.
Which includes Raglan Roast.
It does.
JC and the crew,
Yeah,
they're
mate.
amazing. They have their operations right down here at Manu Bay for the event. And they also have several places you can actually get their coffee up in the town of Raglan. That's where I stopped this morning.
Yeah, if the girls think they're cranky, I mean, they're always delightful in my eyes. But like, mate, me, Ronnie, you, Kipes,
Without coffee,
Richie,
who are we?
don't come near us without the Raglan Roast in the bloodstream.
Look at all these happy fans enjoying all the little hangouts with our sponsors providing for them. Corona Cero back in the event here, presented by Bonsoy, and that's one of the first places you pass when you walk in to the contest site. Also our friends at Yeti handing over limited edition tumblers and more for a great cause, giving away all the proceeds. As we look at a snap there coming through the lip is Gabriela Bryan, but still not liking the look of the canvas in front of her. Priority will shift to Alyssa Spencer, down to 7:35 on the clock. If you're Molly Picklum, if you're Luana Silva, you're hoping that Alyssa keeps this lead when you're thinking about the rankings in the title race. Gabby Bryan will find some clean water to throw that rail into. Third turn incoming, hits it there. So finding a better part of the wall, bending toward her a bit more. So it just came down to a change of positioning from Gabriela Bryan. Identified maybe a little bit less wave height, but a better bowl to throw some water.
Less water on the wave, or on the reef, on the rocks for sure. You know, that first wave was quite full, but this one a little less. So some opportunity And the power base of Gabriela Bryan surfing is impossible to deny. Like, the way that she can just bury off the bottom, project through the lip, swing into these big, powerful hooks. I mean, this one doesn't have that down the line speed that Alyssa has, but it does have very punchy moments. Great angle here, Joe. You can see that this one is a little steeper than what Gabriela's been able to find so far.
Just love that pace that she found, just moving her positioning a bit further in towards the rocks, and found a little bit more rhythm there. So we enjoy the vision from the 100% pure New Zealand flight cam, and you can see the long lap that the water patrol takes around the buoy there. That prevents any wake on the face of the waves, so it doesn't affect performance. But it's a great advantage on a day like today that you don't have to use your paddle power. It changes everything. Instead of watching, 10, 11 waves of heat, you'd be watching maybe a 3 or 4, with how gassed Miguel Pupo was after his heat.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the gym 6 days a week, he told us.
Barely takes a day
He's
off.
puffed. Well, that is it's either a sign of how long the events back to back of how much of a toll it's taken, or it is genuinely gassing these guys and girls, because it is a longer wave than you think. And when there's a lot of downtime, you're having to do twice as much work.
Very true. A lot of times the paddle back out is the time to catch your breath, which what surfers are typically used to. Friends at IC Sunglasses got a big booth here at Manu Bay as well, making a lot of friends globally. As scores are in for last of Alyssa Spencer, 6.33. She's thrown away her 6.0 from wave number 3. Last of Gabby Bryan is her best, a 6.13. So now she's trying to chase down a 7.7. Gabriela Bryan started with a 3, then went to a 5.5. She continues to improve as she's been adjusting throughout this matchup.
Yeah, she is, but Alyssa's just building confidence so beautifully. That last wave, as far as the quality of the wave goes, was nowhere near as good as the 6, but she surfed so much better. She was like really committed to the turns. I think the nerves that she was maybe feeling at the start of this one, there was a little bit of a slow start, a couple of waves that didn't really showcase anything. But once she got that last ride, it was clear that she was fully locked in. Her board looked really good. Her commitment through the turn was all there. So that was a really strong ride and an important one for Alyssa Spencer to just nudge up that requirement, because Gabriela Bryan is starting to just find a way to just keep chipping away at that score that she needs. But a 6.13 for her last, a 7.7. It's going to have to be a really, solid performance on her next wave.
Well, with Gabby Bryan in trouble, you're starting to think about our event winners that we've had this year. Lakey Peterson, Margaret River, Steph Gilmore, Gold Coast, they're already out of the event. Gabby Bryan won bells, and she's in trouble, which will make things really fun for the title race. To have so many different winners at the start of a season. And it's a different look at the entire tour. More women than ever on the championship tour, increasing the number to top 24 in the world. 3 minutes on the clock. Gabriela Bryan, important wave under priority. Chasing a 7.7. First turn, a perfect connection with a big fan out the back. Pushes hard and a backhand cutty. Nice rip off the top again. It's starting to bowl out. Gabby Bryan can continue to swing that rail into the pocket. Pushes it in the corner. It's starting to bend away a little bit, but sometimes there's a little inside corner to play with here. She's found it. Gabby Bryan attacks it. Little whitewater off the top allows her to push that rail back into the power source, and she will tap it shut. Her longest ride of this quarterfinal matchup under the priority of Alyssa Spencer.
Needs a huge score here, a 7.7. There was definitely some nice surfing on this wave. There was some beautiful acceleration out off the bottom, into the lip, onto the open face, but my gut feel is it's not going to be there. It needed more fireworks, Joey. Let's have a look at this thing. Speedy from deep. First turn is awesome. Cracks it. Really nice click. Now that one didn't stand up enough in my view, to really get the combination going. Again there, as you can see, she flies off the bottom. The technique's perfect. Gets a nice snap there. But I think what's going to cruel Gabriela Bryan here is that this wave just would not stand up as much as she needed it to. There's some really good surfing. She's linked it together beautifully. She gets a finish. It's going to need to be, it's going to need to be the best score of the heat. Whew. I mean, my gut feel was maybe not, but there was a lot of work done. That's in her favor.
They're always looking for quality turns. They're never counting turns these days. But Gabriela Bryan gave him a lot to look at, especially that first connection. We both loved that. When the wave got a little full, she kept her speed up well. That's a part of the criteria. As we have another opportunity for Alyssa Spencer, she's going to surf this wave like she needs something big here. The California attacks the pocket there, real clean. Out in front, she finds a nice wrapping turn. Draws it a little bit tighter on the third decision. Holds her rail. Every connection looks real smooth. Not trying to overcook any of these points. Nice patience from Alyssa. Now she's hoping for that little bonus, little end section pocket. Already attacking it off the lip. Fighting through these onshore winds well, but looking a bit smoother than most of her competitors today, as we look at another little jam there, and she will take this one all the way to the end of the matchup. Judges will have to put the next heat on hold and wrap this one up. Two very important scores coming in to see who's moving on into the semifinals.
What a finish to this heat. And I'll tell you what, Joey, that last ride of Alyssa Spencer was just a beautiful thing to watch. You could tell right from the takeoff that wave was superior to anything we saw Gabriela get.
I see the score lock in from Gabriela Bryan. Vaughn, your gut feeling was spot on. A solid score, 7.10, but not enough to turn the heat. So no matter what Alyssa gets on her final wave, she has gotten the job done, and she's moved on to her second semifinal appearance this season and of her career at the CT level. Gabriela out of the event will leave with an equal fifth. And that last score for Alyssa Spencer does count 6.93 to add that to her top two. What a heat.
That was such a good heat. And, you know, we said at the start there, it was going to be a battle of down-the-line speed and rail versus the backside power punches of Gabriela Bryan, but it was Alyssa. The wave selection flawless and the performance on point.
Look at that. Alyssa already on the boat ramp. She'll be walking up for a fun post-heat interview. Great rail work for the goofy footer from California. Tyler Wright coming up next against Sawyer Lindblad. We'll bring in Ronnie and Rich for the call right after this.
This has been my view for the last 30 odd years now. Grew up here, born and bred, very lucky. Obviously Raglan's a bit of a surf town. Cute little cafes everywhere. It's a beautiful little town to grow up in, and we're very, very lucky, and it's very special. Dad started surfing out here and he taught me how to surf here. It's a very small community. You get to know everyone. Everyone's very family orientated. Ever since I started surfing, the community's been awesome to me. Followed my journey around the world. For the last 15 to 20 years, I get to compete and kind of give back in a way and hopefully make my community proud and my country proud.
Corona Cero right behind the New Zealand Pro, presented by Bonsoy, as we take a trip on that 100% pure New Zealand flight cam into Manu Bay. And hasn't it provided today some great heats, some big scores. We just saw Alyssa Spencer upset the world #1, and really impressive stuff there. And it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds now in the rest of the event on the women's side. Ronnie Blakey with Richie Lovett. A couple of big quarterfinal heats coming up here, Rich. The battle between a veteran and one of the newcomers to the CT, Tyler Wright up against Sawyer Lindblad, but Alyssa Spencer buzzing into the semi-finals again. She's on a roll.
She is on an absolute tear at the moment, and she continues to improve. The star continues to shine brighter, and taking down one of the more favoured opponents there in Gabriela Bryan has just been so strong this year. But yeah, her performances just seem to get better and better and more polished and super composed. You can see the confidence building.
She looked good on the forehand. Another surfer who's looked great on her run through the contest so far, San Clemente's Sawyer Lindblad, working with Glenn Hall, and they've been putting the work in on the off days. And look at Sawyer's opening ride, finding a nice cupped out face to lean into some solid rail work here. And she could be extremely dangerous as she eyes a place in the semis as well. Already a couple of solid hits on the outside, multiple manoeuvres done, and not finished with this one just yet as she kicks out now. And that is going to be a powerful start for this newcomer to the CT into her 3rd year on the championship tour now.
Yeah, so a couple of third place finish at Margaret River this year and on the Gold Coast. So really starting to find some form here. She would feel right at home, Ronnie, on these long running left-handers. It's almost like the lefts at lowers. You put about 5 of them together, and this is what you get. Beautiful opening manoeuvre on that wave. Big slashing cutback. And again, keeps it nice and high, drops down to the bottom of the wave. And that's giving her all that ability to just come up to the top of the wave with all that speed. And really showing some aggression as she just wraps these turns back into the pocket, leaning into that last one a little bit more. Just releasing the tail on the second to last turn there.
So impressive. Again, as we see the slow-mo here, just the clean rails throughout each of these carving turns and coming out of these moves with extra acceleration.
Yeah, really good form as she comes through these turns. Watch this here. Brings that back arm forward and across the chest. Keeps everything quite parallel and horizontal, but really good use of that the body mechanics there. Actually, it just kind of showing us some variety in that carve then, in that forward hand, just pivoting around that on that second turn on the slow-mo action. Really good to compare the actual body positioning that she took through those 2 turns.
Tough start to the year, losing out to Carissa Moore at Bells Beach for a 17th, but bounced back incredibly well at stop 2 and 3, collecting a couple of semi-finals. Is on the precipice of another huge finish. A 7.17 to go up against Tyler Wright here. And there are those results. So had some tougher opponents. Luana Silva on the Gold Coast knocked her out. Luana obviously collecting another runner-up finish there, and Lakey Peterson, who went on to win the event in WA, she got her in the semis there. So Sawyer Lindblad building nicely right up at the top end of the ratings. Keep in mind it's an expanded field on the women's side, so a couple more surfers to deal with. Doing well to maintain a position at the top, but this is one of the best ever, a 2-time world champion, the 3rd most winning surfer on the CT.
who's been winning championship tour events since 2008. And that win came at a young age, 14 years of age, an incredible record. And when Tyler won her first CT, Sawyer Lindblad was just 3 years of age.
That's quite remarkable, those stats. It was the Lane Beachley Classic, by my understanding, at DY Beach when she took down the world's beast, the best, sorry, as a 14-year-old. Incredible.
27 minutes remaining here. Tyler waiting for her first opportunity. The winner of this quarterfinal clash is going to take on Alyssa Spencer. Jessie Starling, what about the run of this incredible young talent making a CT return?
My goodness, it has been so cool to watch just how quickly things have changed for you, Liz. I mean, this is your second ever championship tour semi-final. You've got 2 keeper results already. I mean, think about a couple months ago, you're still fighting for a spot, and now you're in the semis in New Zealand.
Yeah, it feels really good to be here, and I mean, that's honestly part of my mindset going into these last couple of heats. I was really trying to just be super grateful for like where I'm at right now, because I was like, wow, think about it, like 4 months ago you were wondering if you were going to requalify for the Challenger Series, and like just being in that position to where I am now, I'm really proud of all my hard work and what I've done to get here.
My goodness, we're all so proud of you as well, and it feels like you've taken a different approach as well. You're really immersing yourself into every location you go to, but especially here, you've got up to so much in the lay days.
Yeah, New Zealand has been like a bucket list place for me forever. So coming here, I was like, okay, we gotta like check everything off the list, and we've gone hiking and gone to see like the Hobbit town and just do everything. So this place is absolutely magical. I feel like I'm in like a fairy tale land everywhere I go.
It really does have this like special kind of energy about it. I feel like you're really tapping into that as well. Thinking about the semi-finals, it's one of these ladies in the water right now. Do you have a preference of who you'd like to come up against?
I mean, oh my goodness, both of these ladies are so talented, and I think any heat on this tour is going to be a good one and going to be super challenging, so I'm excited for the challenge and whoever I get to go up against.
Love it, Liz. We're so proud of you into the semis, and we cannot wait to see you on finals day.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thanks, Jessie. Yeah, it's been fun. You know, there's a lot of surfers who got bashed up, Rich, by the cut, and Alyssa Spencer was one of them. Didn't get the full year to show what she's got. This year, after a stunning run and a victory in the last Challenger Series event on the schedule, she's come back to the CT and really showing what she's capable of. And yeah, she is going to be marching up those rankings.
Well, you wonder whether, when we did have that mid-year cut, whether that looming doom sort of played into the psyche of a lot of the competitors, and they almost felt that pressure and almost sort of crippled the way that they performed, and they couldn't open up. But seems like now Alyssa's just found that confidence, as you mentioned, got the win in the Challenger earlier in the year. And, mate, she has not taken a step back. She's been a real force on this tour, and she's building.
Working with Chris Gallagher now, but Matt Myers, who was working with her prior to that, he said, you know, I saw a soundbite of him talking about Alyssa Spencer. He said, I think she'll be a different surfer when she gets back to the CT. You know, doing some bigger surfing, and I think we're seeing a similar approach from Sawyer Lindblad, who opened this heat with a 7.17. Incredibly strong, and now under priority, eyeing off some of these insiders, looking for a backup. But Sawyer chasing her first CT victory. Had quite a few wins as a qualifying series campaigner. Also took a victory on the Challenger Series at the US Open. But everyone wants to get that first win. And she's had a couple of runner-ups now, Sawyer. So maybe this will be her event.
Well, as I said, this wave just tailor-made for her style of surfing. Comfortable on the forehand, of course. The American goofy footer. And obviously spends a lot of time surfing out at lowers, and the standard of surfing out there on any given day. I mean, the Colapinto brothers, Cole Hauschman, Kolohe and Dino, and many others. So the standard's there, and with that sort of company, your performance is always going to lift.
Movement here on the outside. Tyler waiting for her first opportunity here in the quarterfinals. And she's got a solid number that she's trying to match on the exchange here. Drives up into the first section. Nice release in the tail. Gets up into the bowl again. Solid combo to start here for the two-time world champion, who has a nice rhythm. As she hammers away at this one. Continues to cut back into the bowl to set up a square approach into the pocket each time. This wave's starting to fade away just a little bit. Interesting to see where the panel goes with this.
That was some solid surfing from Tyler Wright on the backhand. Really composed. You could see she wasn't rushed at all. Just took her time off the bottom, had a beautiful rhythm to it. And that's something that the judges have identified that they want to see. No lack of speed. Takes a high line, drops down, drives off the bottom. Great snap to start off and a second with a little bit of tail release, more extension on that third and powers through it. Great combinations as she brings it all the way through to the inside. You can see a little bit of body talk there, expression. You always know a surfer when they're feeling connected. Oh, great vision here. Off the drone, you can just see the tighter angles as Tyler pivots off the top here. Great rhythm. Opens the shoulders up off the bottom turn. On occasion, dragging that inside arm.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive stuff. 6.33, didn't quite match the 717 of Sawyer's, but still an impressive ride. And it's impressive because Tyler's often spoken about, you know, her backhand being one of her weaknesses, something that she's always working on. Didn't wrestle a good result away from the first three events on that forehand. So this is an important heat for the two-time world champ. Just over 20.5 minutes to go. Let's check in with True. She's tracked down Sawyer's coach, and he's actually coached Tyler Wright before in the past to world titles.
Ronnie, I thought we'd have to touch on that micro. You know, there's a lot of history between you and Tyler, and it's a new experience for you with Sawyer this year.
Yeah, for sure. I worked with Tyler for a few years, and yeah, she's awesome, and it's cool to see her going left. It's we surf so many events, or like worked together on so many events where I was right. So it's yeah, this is a good battle. She just got a good wave then, and Sawyer started really strong though. So for Sawyer, this is like kind of a lowers left. So she's like so comfortable and just excited to go left. I think as far as the tour goes, it's been a lot of rights over the years. So I think everyone, and especially for me, I'm proud goofy. So it's fun to watch.
I think, you know, it's interesting when you start a new relationship with a new athlete and finding the flow and, you know, getting that connection. What's that been like with you and Sawyer coming into the year?
Yeah, you're right. It's like, you know, when you work with a new athlete, you got to kind of build that relationship and build the trust. And she's such a legend. She's been really fun to hang out with and fun to work with. And she's kind of got that youthful energy of like, just she wants to surf. You know, she kind of like enjoys trying not to complicate it, which is always a good thing as a coach. And yeah, like when you come here and there's like running lefts, it's like find a left and go mad and treat it like lowers. Feel like you're at home and just go for it. So it's been really fun.
She started off strong and backing it up now as well, a 717. We'll leave you to it, Micro. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, True. Oh, starting this wave incredibly well, giving it a little bit more, wanting to build on the 717, doing some of the cleanest frontside carves that we've seen all day. And she started this wave off with a series of high impact turns on that outside section, a quality set wave. She didn't waste it at all.
No, she didn't. And she's bringing something a little bit different to this forehand approach. It's almost a re-entry to carve. It's two manoeuvres in one that she's bringing, and we'll break it down on the slow-mo as Sawyer Lindblad drives for speed, comes to the bottom of the wave. A beautiful snap to tail release. And it's these turns here, Ronnie, where she starts to wind up, carves through that back half of the turn, really accelerating through it. Another beautiful high snap there. Oh, gosh, that one. Just really stomping the foot on the tail pad and driving through the fins.
I love the application of pressure through some of those frontside carves, but that opening turn's so strong. Nice little drift on the tail.
Yeah, and you can see here just wrapping it all the way around so that the nose of the board is back facing the foam, and then she rebounds and then gets set for that next bottom turn. But really applying the pressure, and this is a replay of Tyler Wright, who was on the second wave of the set. Comes from behind it, little under the lip snap, excuse me, but doesn't see much happening down the line.
Well, numbers starting to roll through. Sawyer kicked off with a 7.17.
Gosh, these waves look so fun right now.
They sure do, and Sawyer's just dropped the highest scoring ride of this heat, 7.93. Tyler after an 8.77 now, and she's going to work her way through these first couple of calves. Size up it this way, is going to bowl down the line. She's committed to it now. Trying to improve on that 6.33 at least, just to keep chipping away at the requirement here. And this wave starting to flatten out just a little bit, but Tyler already with some great work on the inside is going to try and finish this one off strong on the inside. Mentioned that Glenn Hall used to coach Tyler for the past couple of seasons. She's been working with Richard Dogmarsh, so she will have Leonardo Fioravanti no doubt down here cheering her on. A lot of the camps kind of fall into cheerleader mode once they're someone else in their squad is out there competing. But Tyler's got her hands full here. That was a really solid start from Sawyer, 7.17, and I'm just not sure if she got the same kind of work done on the outside on her 6.33 here on this one.
I did like the opening snap. The second was more of a carve down, and the third turn had a bit of spice to it as well, and tail release. But from then on, Ronnie, she was more or less steering the board around, getting some nice, clean, rhythmic snaps on the backhand. But in contrast, Sawyer on the front hand, at this point in the wave, she was roping and really accelerating through those turns with a bit more power. I didn't mind these little snaps through the inside as well, getting some nice angles here.
Yeah, really solid stuff. Tyler Wright on the back of the Red Bull ski here. She's been enjoying her time with her wife here in Aotearoa, and there is Lily on screen, and she's been getting out and getting amongst all the fun that this country provides. A bit of fly fishing, checking out some of the beaches. You know, there is, I think we heard Cole Hauschman saying before, there's some hot springs that kind of come through the beaches here, and they found some of that, as we see on the outside. Live action, Sawyer Lindblad just on a heater here at the moment. Already a couple of sevens in the bag, and really starting to click and find a great flow here in this lineup. Smooth surfing, keeping those rails clean, even with that texture on the surface as she rips into another carve. You can see, just, I mentioned it before, the application of pressure halfway through these carves, where she just puts that head down and really digs in, applying a lot of pressure to the tail of the board. And obviously it's a really good piece of equipment because she finds acceleration from the board when she does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of the camp coming out of the Lost Surfboard, Matt Biolis, working closely with Sawyer Lindblad. Let's have a look here at the replay. Just a beautiful carve off the top. This one here just brings it all the way down, holds that rail line through the carve into a clean snap, and then some more open face work. Super clean rails. And Ron, it feels to me like there's just a slight difference in the speed with which Sawyer's traveling across these waves compared to Tyler. You know, it's maybe 10% difference in speed, feels like to me.
Just when you're diving into the real details here, and we're going to bring them up for you thanks to the Apple Watch and those speed dynamics. Sawyer Lindblad sitting on top of the table here for speed down the line. I'm guessing it's through those front side calves, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the stats have actually backed me up, so that's good. I'm not just seeing things up. 55.84 kilometres an hour. So that's at the top moment, or the highest speed moment through those calves has to be when she's dropping those numbers. But Anat Lelior, she also went through the gears and got right up there, got some top speed moments. Bella Kenworthy, Molly Picklum, and also Isabel Nichols. Some of those ladies already departed from the event.
Yeah, and if these sets keep rolling in, I think we'll see the surfers put the foot down and increase those numbers. Sawyer's just looking deadly out here at the moment. When you compare these two and the speed that Sawyer's showing at the moment, you can kind of see she's taking a tight arc on those front side calves, maintaining her speed and not having to drop all the way back into the bowl. When the wave does steepen, she's there to give it a more vertical hit, but she's got great speed right throughout the wave. On the backhand, it's a little more difficult to do because you've got to get some separation from the wall of the wave to get those more vertical hits in and match it with your goofy-footed rival in Tyler Wright's instance.
Yeah, absolutely. Two really different approaches from the forehand to the backhand, and as you said, that ability to square up on the backhand, which Tyler's doing very, very well, but there is, I guess, a loss of speed in that moment where you are drifting and sort of kicking the fins free. While it looks really good, you've got to make sure you can get back on that heel side rail really, really quickly. So at this stage, the forehand approach has been really on show today.
Just over 12 minutes to go. Tyler setting one up on the outside here. And this one sort of moving off that outside ledge and doesn't provide any steep sections. So it's all working in Sawyer Lindblad's favour at the moment. She's got priority. She's got the lead. Tyler needs a 9.93. We're going to take a Bonsoy brew break.
Was in the sunshine all day. Can't complain. Bro, we are at Manu Bay, Raglan. My local spot, come here every day. Dad used to drop me off at the rocks when I become a little bit better and just leave me out here all day. We got Manu Bay, the first one that you can see when you drive out from town, which is probably the most user-friendly one. And then you go around the corner to Whale Bay with all the houses on the point, and you got a pretty much a similar wave to Manu Bay. Manu Bay's obviously shaped my surfing to where I am today. I love going left. All our swell comes from mainly the southwest, which is in between New Zealand and Australia, like solid ground swell for it to wrap around the mountain. So beautiful to just watch the sunset, finish off the day out here in the ocean and kind of wind down a little bit and enjoy our surroundings and where I've grown up and where I live, so can't complain, it's beautiful. It's a really good set.
And Rich will be tracking down Billy Stemmen in the car park later on to crack open a Corona Cero and sit back and watch the Corona Cero post-show here at the New Zealand Pro, presented by Bonsoy. Big day of competition. Quarterfinals set for the men, establishing some semis here on the women's side now. Alyssa Spencer already through to semi-final number one after a big heat win over Gabriela Bryan just moments ago. And right now, Sawyer Lindblad is dominating this heat, has the advantage over Tyler Wright, has priority at the moment, and Tyler's after a 9.93. Sawyer's after her first CT win in 2026. Tyler Wright, I mentioned before, the third most winning surfer on the CT, one of the most winning championship tour surfers ever, 17 victories. And she's got to muster all that experience now to try and overcome this incredible 20-year-old who's given us her best stuff at the moment. Again, Sawyer's just making such good use of that outside section, big turns, really committed carves. And the light's starting to pop now as she looks to finish off another solid ride here. Ripping her way through to the inside. Has the fam down here. And they've been loving the performance she's putting together at the moment. So started with a 7.17, built on that, 7.93. Her last wave came through at an 8.33. So even her throwaway number is higher than anything Tyler's put on the board just yet. That last wave, it probably won't go into the top two, but what she is doing is starving opportunity for Tyler Wright.
Yeah, absolutely. She's on a heater at the moment, no doubt about it. Just she's looking just so connected. She takes a lift back out on the Red Bull ski. Live action of Tyler. Come on, fight back. Let's see it.
Well, Tyler, she's had some real moments on the back end. This wave just a little sleepy in its tempo down the line. And for the regular footers, they really want those ones that allow them to get some speed up, because Rich, generating speed on flatter waves, much easier on your forehand.
Yeah, for sure. It just, you can kind of get yourself in better positions, sort of compress, use your upper body, that transition from front to back foot. And we'll watch Sawyer Lindblad do it really well here. Just carving the top of that lip in half. Big swooping roundhouse cutback. She gets the rebound again, drops into the trough of the wave. And again, she's going for that really aggressive carve, but staying nice and high on the wave running where she can drop down again. And then she gets the little kind of, well, I'll call it a pizza throw snap, where she cuts the maneuver a little short, but really functional. Her tempo on the waves at the moment is absolutely perfect.
6 minutes to go here. You know, I was just having a look at Tyler's 17 CT wins. She won 2 events before she joined the Championship Tour as a full-time campaigner. You mentioned the Beachley Classic down there on the northern beaches of Sydney. Also had a win at Sunset, the World Cup, which was huge. Joined the tour in 2011, finished 4th in her rookie year. And then 2012, 4th again. 2013, she started winning CTs. And from that point, she won a CT event every year until 2018, where she had to pull out of the tour due to suffering influenza A post-viral syndrome. That kept her off the tour really for 2 years. So there was a little break, but got back into winning as soon as she made her Championship Tour return in 2021. 2024 really is the only year that she competed the full schedule without winning an event. Her last win was the Pipe Pro last season.
Yeah, she's been so dominant, hasn't she, throughout the last decade.
That's ridiculous.
A real fixture at the top of the ratings, and always managing to wrestle a win from the field. It's been a bit of a struggle, though, to get that winning feeling in 2026, but she's allowed us. She's been honest about, just not being as physically prepared, and she's done the work now, and you can see the surfing starting to come back to where she wants that level to be.
The big focus at the moment in the surfing world is obviously right here at the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro, presented by Bonsoy, but plenty happening around the world in the WSL world. Here's some news. Coastal Edge Steel Pier Classic Longboard QS to return this weekend at Virginia Beach, USA. Stay tuned to worldsurfleague.com or the app for all the latest there. The Hawaii Tahiti Nui region is running back-to-back events. Tapuna and Papara Tahiti. Congratulations to Jackson Bunch, Moana Jans Wong, who got the victory there yesterday. And they'll set their sights on Papara, no doubt. And then Edgemont Honey Pro Longboard QS to start May 30th in Taranaki, New Zealand. Quality waves, and obviously a really deep cast of talent will be challenging for the title there. So still more bigger events on the calendar for New Zealand coming up. 3.5 minutes to go here. Don't forget to stay tuned to worldsurfleague.com for all the latest news on each of those contests. But right now the focus is the situation that Tyler Wright finds herself in. 9.93 the requirement. Haven't seen a number that big in the contest yet, Rich.
No, it'd be the highest scoring wave of the event across the men's and women's field. So the assignment here is for Tyler just to wait for that magic wave. With 3 minutes to go, she may have time to do it in 2, but she would need to get a wave in the next 30 seconds.
Despite all the victories for Tyler Wright, despite the 2 world titles, it felt like on paper the advantage in this heat was to Sawyer Lindblad, just on the strength of her forehand approach. Tyler has been so transparent with her backhand and how she feels about it. So I would still call this a solid result for her on the backhand, even if she can't find that opportunity here in the dying minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Quarterfinal finish is, well, that's a world title result, so long as you do have maybe a couple of 1s and 2s in your scoreline. But she'll be feeling good about this performance. You know, her backhand is looking really good, and she's going to have a crack at this 9.
Let's see if she can't pull a miracle out here in the final stages. Drives up into the pocket, slides that tail. You can tell there's some adjustments being made. There's a nice, more powerful driving turn off the toes there. And she'll work this one over. You know, still a reasonable heat performance-wise with a couple of 6-point rides. And she's just come up against a very in-tune Sawyer Lindblad, and Sawyer finding another gem on the outside. Her throwaway scores would both get her through this heat to the semi-finals. That's going to be a worse ride. Her previous wave came through at a 7.27.
Yeah, and smart competing there too. I think she felt like she didn't really need to surf that wave. Instead, just opting to get priority out of the corner of her eye. She would have seen that Tyler was paddling out and perhaps just going, you know what, I'm going to make sure I re-establish priority. I can close this out. I'll hold it out for the final minute and block any chance of Tyler.
Well, Sawyer Lindblad is already jumped up into 5th place on the live rankings. And with a couple of surfers out, there may be room to go a little higher. The thing that's holding her back, that 17th that she had in the first event of the season. But she is trending in a positive direction on the Championship Tour ranking, Sawyer Lindblad, and competing like she is ready to claim that maiden event title. 40 seconds to go here. She'll control the later stages of this heat, and she can afford to be defensive now.
No mistakes, really. When you look at it, I don't know how much feedback Glenn Micro Hall is going to give her other than great heat. You didn't put a foot you didn't put a foot wrong. You don't often get that feedback as a surfer. There's normally a couple of things that you need to tidy up, a few mistakes here and there, whether it's a priority error, but this has been mistake-free surfing from Sawyer.
She made her waves count under priority, and when she got priority, she bettered her scores. She also won that opening exchange, fought for the inside position. Strategically, a really good heat from the hooter until the final stages here.
That was impressive.
It was.
That's a man who's not easily impressed. So to get that out of Crow, that's a win in itself. But look at the numbers, 16.26. That's excellent scoring. Great heat there from Sawyer Lindblad, and she continues to rise. The confidence continues to build, taking down the world champ.
Well, Tyler Wright, it's a step in the right direction for her. She jumped up a number of spots as well, up into 14th on the live rankings at the moment. We're going to take a quick break. We got the world champ, Molly Picklum, coming up next, taking on Hawaii's Bettylou, Sakura Johnson.
This new generation never goes outside. This new generation is lazy. This new generation needs to wake up. Wake up.
If you haven't seen nowadays, check it out. Rebel TV, YouTube. It's right there waiting for you. One of the most incredible surf films. A game changer, if you like. That's no doubt going to inspire the next generation to go even bigger. One of them is out there, one of the stars at the moment, Molly Picklum, last year's world champ. And she's found a jam to kick off her campaign here. Looking to crack the semi-finals. And she's got her hands full. Bettylou, Sakura Johnson has looked incredible and looks like she's found a nice little read on this wave on her road through to this point in the competition. So this should be a really fun clash, Rich. Plenty of history between these two competitors as well.
Yeah, and you can have a look at the numbers there. Molly Picklum, current number 3 in the world. Bettylou, Sakura Johnson, number 11. Agree with you wholeheartedly. Some of the best hand surfing on the women's side from Bettylou in the opening rounds of this event. Something about the pace of this wave just really suiting her style of surfing. And yeah, she'll be up for the challenge. Molly Picklum, she's been so strong, confident, almost, you know, just with a big old smile on her face. She really hasn't been challenged too much in the event so far, but I feel like this one she's going to have to stay composed and really put on a game face.
Both last year's world champs did so well in backing up their world titles with finals appearances in the first stop this season. Molly Picklum, a runner-up finish to Gabby Bryan down there at Bells. Yago Dora, he also had a runner-up finish in the first event of the year, but Molly, she's been bumped out in the quarterfinals the last 2 contests, so she is desperate to get herself back in event-winning form and a solid start. 4.5 for her. This wave might even stand up a little better through to the inside. Talking to Molly, she seems supremely confident. Has owned that world title position incredibly well. Deals with the pressures nicely. A couple of nice hits through to the inside here. Some really clean conditions, maybe some of the best conditions that we've had during the event window at Manu Bay. And Molly just with probably another mid-range score coming through here.
Yeah, some great surfing. The outside work in particular was really clean from Molly on that last wave. Bettylou actually was looking at that wave and just opted not to go. Bettylou said, yep, I'll Bettylou didn't want a piece of it, excuse me, and Molly said, yep, I'll have it. You can see connects with these first 2 turns, maybe a little late to the second one, drives around that section, another open face carve off the top. Backs it up with another wrap there. So this is the wave that Bettylou didn't want, and I feel like just there was a better connection to this wave, the way Molly just tagged it through that outside moment. Brings it all the way through to the inside. Great rail transitions. Just always cutting back to that power source. And then it stands up again, and she gets a couple of nice clean snaps through this inside running part of the wave here. Steepens up, she speeds up. Plenty of flair on those final moments.
Yeah, the backhand has gotten so strong in recent times. I think we talk a lot about Molly's performances in waves of consequence and in bigger conditions. Sunset Beach, Pipe, Tahiti, obviously. But while that is where she's kind of gaining a reputation for changing the game. It's been pretty impressive what she's done with her performance surfing as well. Her forehand has so much variety. Her backhand is looking pretty deadly. She's going to surf that last wave up. There's another coming through, and now Bettylou is going to need to respond here. She seems to be surfing with a whole lot of speed as she hammers down the line here. Nice hit off the top there. And this wave standing up beautifully, and Betty just has a fantastic rhythm. Big blast there, sending a huge sheet of spray up into the lineup. Light starting to pop here this afternoon as Bettylou takes this opening ride right through to the inside, and it just keeps cupping out and giving her the opportunity to let go of quality turns. She slaps the thighs, knowing that she's put a good score on the board here.
Kind of feels excellent to me, that surfing that we've just seen. Worth the wait from Bettylou, Sakura Johnson. A couple of those backhand hooks perfectly placed. So much sting, just sitting on the bottom turn. Let's check the replay here. Just guns for speed down the line. It's these turns here, Ronnie, as she comes through this midsection. Watch her sit on the bottom turn here. Connects with the lip there. Sits on it again, drives hard off the bottom and off the top. These moments here, incredible. Just sending so much spray off the top of the wave. Beautiful form as she extends and releases off the lip here. Again, dry. Look how much tilt is on the board as she drives through the bottom turn. That's creating all that speed. Speed is everything. And great angle here from the water. Opens the shoulders up. Great upper body rotation. Stays nice and compressed over the front foot.
Wow. What a gem of a wave, and her patience at the start really paid off. She was rewarded in the form of a quality set wave, but it was what she did with it that was super impressive. Molly surfed her right up, it felt like, for a 6.67. But Bettylou, who's got 2 CT wins now, they both came last season. She's on one. She's going to start with an 8.5. Those numbers rolling through. Betty will be inspired by that, getting a huge jump on that last exchange and really setting herself up well here. Needs next to nothing to climb ahead of Molly. We've got a heat on our hands. There's the IC score update. Shows you the average across the board. One judge even throwing a 9 at it, and for good reason. There was a couple of 2 turns in particular on that ride that really stood out, Rich. Big flare, as high as we've seen anyone place their board on the backhand today. Found a bit of drift, but it wasn't like she just transferred her weight to the front foot and let the tail glide across the lip. She really punched through it.
Yeah, she sure did. And that's one thing that you can see that Bettylou has been working on, is that power approach. She's not just placing the maneuvers, she's really attacking. And the fundamentals of that attack is coming from speed, established from that real deep bottom turn, and that's where it starts.
9th heat between these 2 competitors. And in their first 6 battles, Molly Picklum proved to be a real handful for Bettylou. So 6 victories over Bettylou in their first 6 meetings, but they've had 8 prior heat meetings. I'm going to bring up the head-to-head history between these 2. And their last 2 clashes have gone Bettylou's way, and she has put up monster heat score totals in those heats. One was in the quarterfinals on the Gold Coast, the other at the Trestles event last season, where she put 17 points up against the surfer that would go on to win the world title. Bettylou also cracked the top 5 and got herself a world title shot too last year. So she's a surfer on the rise, but this year hasn't really gone to plan in the way of big results in the early stages of the season. So an important heat for her here. And we see now Molly on the outside having to find a response. And she took the first wave of the set, used her priority here. All the mail has been the second wave is the one you want to get onto. That one kind of catching Bettylou out of position.
Yeah, really positive signs to see these sets pouring through. And some beautiful left-handers stretching out into the bay. But Bettylou will just patiently wait. Real power position at the 23-minute mark, having an excellent score line, or an excellent wave score, I should say. And the chance now to back it up with something good if she just waits for another good score.
23 minutes remaining here. And Molly Picklum's going to need more. Bettylou in a powerful position to make a strike for the lead. And we have just seen an amazing performance. Jessie Starling, how's that battle in the top half of the draw going to be? Two incredible goofy footers in semi-1 now.
Oh my goodness, couldn't agree more, Ronnie. Sawyer, I came in, I said to her, flawless performance. That heat, I didn't have a single thing wrong to say about it. Micro had something else to say, but what about you? What did you feel like about your performance?
Yeah, it was super fun out there. I don't really get to show my frontside surfing that often, so yeah, it was just really fun to go left. It feels like lower soft out there.
We were standing here before these sets were rolling through and you're like, oh my gosh, it's getting better out there. It just feels like these left-hand point breaks, all the goofy footers are so giddy to be going and surfing.
Yeah, I think we're like just extra excited because we've never had like a rippable left like this on tour. So yeah, I mean, I was like, this was the most excited event. Like was the event I was most excited for. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow is even better. I'm excited.
Speaking of tomorrow, semi-final it'll be against Alyssa Spencer. You guys have actually never met head-to-head on the CT before, but a long list of history of you two competing from the junior ranks. So it's pretty cool to see that you guys now are competing on the highest stage.
Yeah, for sure. We used to do like all the NSSAs and primes and surf against each other. She was a bit older, so me and Katie were always trying to like beat the older girls. So yeah, it'll be fun to have a heat against her.
And of course, this is your third semi-final in a row. What a start to the year for you.
Yeah, good start. Actually, by Bells, like at Bells, I lost first heat, so I had to like kind of regroup, and now I'm on a little roll, so hopefully I can keep it going and get my first win.
We love it. We love it. Thanks for your time, so good luck in the semi-finals.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jessie. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a fantastic finish. Interesting, just the goofy-footed story on both the women's and the men's side is well and truly alive. Two goofies fighting for a place in the final here. There's still Caroline Marks on the bottom side of the draw in this last quarterfinal heat of the women's event. But on the men's side, all the goofies are on one side of the draw. And so all regular footers on the top side in the quarterfinals and some very informed goofies on the bottom side. So we're going to have a regular goofy footer battle, which will be a lot of fun to watch here at the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy. 20.5 minutes to go. It was fun watching those quarterfinal clashes come together on the men's side, getting through that third round finally at this event. Some set wave action rolling our way. Bettylou with priority. Just a single ride for Bettylou, but it's a big one. Easy decision to pass up that first wave of the set. It was a little bit smaller. Now thinking about making a move for this one. In position, sizing this one up. An easy call, a good size wave here. And let's see what she can do with it. Her first wave, so impressive. Opening turn is a big one. Nice and tight to the pocket. And really maintains her speed nicely through the first three maneuvers. This wave, if it goes again, she could be on her way to another big score. Such a dynamic start. Solid turns, even in transition. Bettylou's equipment also looking really solid. Very clean rails as she makes her way through to the inside. And will she get a final hit here? No, she doesn't. So a little bit of a jumbled finish to this ride, but the work was done on the outside. It's definitely going to be a nice compliment to the 8.5.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. I don't think it's going to go excellent, but some of the work on the outside was beautiful. And as you said, a great backup score. Let's have a look at the replay here. Stays high, drops down, hard off the bottom. Clean snap to start off. Beautiful fan of spray. And it really extends through the second turn and the third. Sort of mirror images of those two snaps to follow up. And then she does, again, some great backhand snap work down the line here, carving, really cutting some beautiful lines on the face.
This turn in particular, you know, we've seen a lot of waves throughout this contest where the surfers are basically building speed, and it almost sort of takes them to until the second or third turn to get their major move in. But that one just allowed Bettylou to drive hard off the bottom into that first section. It was a great opening move, and I think on the back of that, she'll get a pretty decent reward for it.
You can see the Mayhem logo on the board as she rides the Red Bull jet ski and gets a lift back out the back.
Been enjoying Whangaroa with her partner, Brady Sale, who's been having a good time over here as well, but exploring some of the beaches around here and just immersing themselves in the culture of this region, which is so beautiful. Waiting on that number to come through for Bettylou. If it eclipses the 6.67 for Molly Picklum, life's going to get very difficult here in a moment.
Yeah, it's going to be an excellent score required from Molly Picklum. I get the feeling that Bettylou, she's going to match Molly's top score and then maybe some. And so it'll be a fight that Molly needs to get into real quick at the 17-minute mark. But the bay is flaring up now. We're seeing some beautiful lines coming through here. Molly having a look at this one.
Well, Molly, we saw her backhand in the WSL finals last year. She's got some of the biggest backhand hits on the Women's Championship Tour. Squaring up, getting the board vertical there, driving up into the bowl, a beautiful backside carve. And she is getting a nice little runner of turns through that outside section. So Picklum fighting here, the 23-year-old. So will that likely be her best ride. Nice set wave from the ledge, and it's starting to hold its line through the inside now. Yeah, Molly's staying very busy. So a 7.83 for Bettylou on her last ride. I think it was a stronger start for Bettylou than what Molly even found on that ride, but Molly found a cleaner run through the inside track.
Yeah, if Molly can wrestle a 7, she'll be in the ballpark here, but I see the score, and it's a good one, Ron. 7.83 on the IC score line. You can see the judges fairly unanimous in the spread.
Yeah, we had the feeling on the strength of that opening move that it was going to be a good number. And Molly's looking for a big reply. What she'd love to do here is put up her best number, because holding on to that 6.67 means she's got way too much work to do. Prior to this ride, she was after a 9.66. It's not going to turn the heat, but for Molly's chances in this clash, she's hoping that it goes into as high as possible.
Yeah, that carve to snap opening combination was great, and then a big sort of body extending carve as the third. And beautiful vision here from the water. And you can just see the technique there. Watch her open the shoulders up here. The upper body twisting around, the lower body follows. And she'll sit on that heel side rail again and head up towards the top part of the wave. But just dragging these turns through the back half of that wave, Ronnie, rather than, you know, Bettylou seems to be able to just square up. She's really picked the best wave so far.
Bettylou's got a similar approach on her forehand as well. She can pivot so quickly off the bottom without it kind of looking like she's doing it without driver. It's just a really quick transition that can get her up into the most critical part of the wave, forehand or backhand. So that's a real weapon here on a wave that kind of demands you to make that quick move to pounce on the optimum scoring opportunity.
Yeah, we've been talking about the forehand approach so much, and we just saw it in the heat before with Sawyer Lindblad, and we were going, okay, how are the natural footers going to unlock this wave? And Bettylou and Molly have been putting some great surfing together in this heat, really showing us what's possible on this wave.
Molly had a remarkable championship tour run last season, started so strong, made the semi-finals in the first 4 events, also got a second place finish over in Abu Dhabi. Then kind of had what you'd call a slump for Molly, but not for anyone else, just had a 9th in a couple of quarters. But once she got to those last 4 events of the season, she was near unbeatable. She had 4 finals in a row, got 2 wins out of it in Rio and in Tahiti. And, you know, despite the fact that she lost the first heat to Caroline Marks over there in Fiji, when she came back in the second heat, she just looked like she was in beast mode, and she just got on the attack. She clouded the biggest sections that Cloudbreak would throw at her, got pitted, got that world title, and yeah, celebrated the hell out of it. Yeah,
it was a remarkable run, and we've got some scores dropped in, Ron. Molly Picklum, a 7.6. So she's staying in touch here. It's exactly what she needed because she would have been pretty much in combo land if she didn't get there.
There's that tenacious fighting spirit. 7.6 takes a lot off the requirement, and it seems more attainable now after an 8.73. Sizes up this first wave in the set under priority. No harm in having a look and asking some questions of your rival there.
Yeah, no harm. Might as well just have a look down the line, see if there's something happening. But an 8.73 is what she needs. But with 12 and a half minutes on the clock, she would maybe still be thinking, you know what, I might have to do this in 2.
I think she could turn it with an 8.73, a single ride, but Bettylou's definitely looking like she's in the kind of form that could see her improve on this lead. We're going to take a quick break here at the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro. Back with more in just a moment. We are taking a look back at the incredible performance of Bettylou, Sakura Johnson and Molly Picklum at the 2024 Pipe Masters. And this was a semi-final clash. Bettylou getting extremely pitted out of backdoor. It was 3 surfers really that set the event on fire. Molly Picklum had this one, Rich, 10-point ride on the backhand. The technique, flawless here as she dropped into this one.
Oh, gosh, that is just art in motion. Watching Molly Picklum just getting into the perfect pig dog stance, positioning in on the left-hand side of the barrel at Pipeline. Just incredible. Oh, gosh, that was just such a steep section. She did it so perfectly. And really starting to get comfortable at pipe, which I can tell you firsthand is a really difficult thing to do. And Bettylou, Sakura Johnson, she had her own turn at doing it as well. Really, it was a coming-of-age moment for both these women. Just, you know, you don't often get these opportunities, Ron, surfing Pipeline. There's normally 60, 70, 80 people in the lineup at any given time in the free surf. So great to see the women getting a chance in competition and really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, Katie Simmers too, a magic run for her in that contest. But yeah, as we said, a game changer in the performance of women's surfing. There's been some big wave trailblazers before, but that event in particular had so many magic moments. Big heat unfolding here at the moment. A semi-final place on the line. Just under 9 minutes to go. Molly Picklum fighting back courageously in this heat after Bettylou, Sakura Johnson got on an absolute heater. Molly's logged a 7.6, needs more, needs an 8.73, the highest scoring ride of this clash so far. Bettylou turning in her single best ride of the year on her opening ride. And while there's a break in the action, we've got our boy Kaipo. He's out and about. He's loving his time over here in New Zealand.
That's right, Ron. You know what time it is? It's time to froth. And my froth right now is the surfing from Sakura. Bettylou, Sakura Johnson, so good they had to name her 4 times. That's froth-worthy. Her surfing is froth-worthy. And another thing, you know, I'm out there in the sea, for hours and hours and hours upon end. When I think in my mind, when I get to shore, you know what I froth over? The new isotonic drink from Bonsoy. This is natural hydration with electrolytes, mineral salt, sparkling coconut water, and real fruit juice. It's natural hydration, and I can't wait to get back to shore to hydrate with this. My favorite flavor, pineapple. Go figure.
How good. Yep. I'm with you, Kipes. I'm also frothing on the performance of Bettylou at the moment. Been looking so strong. But he's right. The isotonic hydration, new from Bonsoy. Really good. Great flavours. Worth checking out for sure. This is an intense one. Bettylou had a quarterfinal start down there at Bells Beach, but got dumped in the second round a couple of times for ninth place finishes in the past two events. So she's really stinging to get herself into a semi-final heat here. Molly Picklum, she's coming off the back of a couple of quarterfinal results, and she wants to punch through this heat and give herself a chance at a first championship tour win this year. Great heat on paper, living up to the billing. And while we've got a bit of a break here, let's have a look at the excellent start here for Bettylou, Rich.
Yeah, let's check the replay out here. This two-turn combination, Ron, for me, is some of the best surfing we've seen on the backhand. We're going to let the first turn just ride through, and then we'll break down the second turn a little bit, starting with the bottom turn. So she comes into it here. Okay, pause it right now. You can see the back arm, this pendulum motion here. That's going to create all that speed and keep the center of gravity low. The back arm, which you can almost see here, that's touching, or forward arm, I should say, that's touching the face of the wave. That's going to create the pivot point, just making note of the board that's really tilted onto that hillside rail, really balanced in her stance. But what you will see as she comes up, let's let it roll, you'll see the transfer go from that back foot, and she'll get this twisting motion here, the upper body, and then the lower body will follow, and then the transition to the weight on the front foot happens here. The hand placement on the front of the board, that proves that all that weight is forward. Her eye line back down the face of the wave here, looking to where she wants to go. But her technique at the moment, absolutely flawless.
Flawless, as we see Molly Picklum just releasing on that closeout section on the outside. Time ticking by, Molly taking some chances there. And in that instance, when Bettylou's out the back with priority, even with a set wave there rolling through, she's got the control of the lineup. There's really no need to push it because Molly's not there to challenge her for that ride.
Bettylou working with Tommy Witts. This is literally mirror image of what he used to do and how he competes. He is a huge advocate of just taking off on the best waves. Make sure your wave choice is impeccable, because that's half the game plan. It's half the challenge of putting yourselves on the right waves, and Bettylou has done that, and she's converted once she's got on those waves. So coach is going to be very happy with that, and at the moment, full control of this heat.
Live rankings, these two already starting to make their move, cracking the quarterfinals here. Bettylou up a couple of spots to 10th already. A jump into the semis, we'll see her climb more. Molly Picklum already up one spot into third. But she won't want to get bumped out here in the quarterfinals for a third event in a row. You know, for some competitors, getting to the quarters is a monster achievement. For someone like Molly, who, you know, had so many finals last season, Rich, quarters is not really what she's after. She wants semis. She wants to get those runner-ups, those wins, and have the best chance to go back-to-back this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it, mate. She needs to start really bringing those final appearances home for 2026. But I feel like Bettylou has basically convinced herself, and there's people around her convincing her that she's a world title campaigner this year.
I back that. Yeah, she's just looking very staunch out there at the moment. Just on 3 minutes to go here, Vaughn. Bettylou surfing brilliantly on those first two rides.
Yeah, Bettylou has put together a wonderful heat here. Tom, what have you been most impressed with?
Yeah, her wave selection's been super on point. We're sort of sitting here going, oh my gosh, she's letting this one go. She's giving it to Molly, and then it turns into a not so good wave. So wave selection's really cool, and really excited about the position she's getting in off the top. She's really squared up and sort of trying to get a bit of tail release, which is something she worked on pretty hard in the off season. So it's always nice when you see them sort of pull it out in the event.
Awesome to see, and awesome when it's like the best in its class. Like I think the backside snaps we've seen just in this heat alone are so much tighter. She's really pivoting and dragging the nose right back down the trail that she went up on.
It's a tricky wave too, Raglan, to get that timing. She's really worked hard this week on sort of reading the wave better and dropping down early to get the steep part of the wave. So she's done really, really well. She's been a little sick under the weather the last few days. So maybe that stored up energy's come out in those couple of waves.
It's a good one, mate. It's been a long break. How hard has it been to sort of just keep your athletes, in check and mind on the job?
As I said, Bettylou's been under the weather a little bit, so she's been chilling, just saving her energy. My other male athletes love to golf, so that's an easy one in New Zealand. There's some amazing places. We went over the North Coast yesterday. East Coast is absolutely phenomenal, and Tiki and Hamilton's looking after us. It's been amazing too.
Fantastic, mate. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Thank you, Vaughn. Yeah, Bettylou, like, you wouldn't know it, Rich, that she'd been under the weather for a couple of days. Just well rested out here and doing some of her best surfing. Well, she is doing her best surfing right now that we've seen from her this season. Just really composed. The backhands looked unbelievable. I've sort of been watching closely with the regular footers today, and some of them have sort of seemed to struggle to get the speed but stay close to the bowl. And Bettylou has probably done it better than just about anyone. She's been turning around that white water. I think maybe just that wind, laying down that devil wind, backing off a little bit has allowed her to do that, but she's been driving from behind the section to find a more square approach.
Yeah, absolutely, and the closer you can stay really to that power source, which is the broken part of the wave, that's where the wave has the most energy and where you're going to have the most impact when you do the turn. And as you say, Betty coming from behind the section, we've seen so many of the natural footers out on the face and extending and almost trying to manufacture that carve and the acceleration through the turn. But she's just harnessing the speed so well.
35 seconds to go here. Time ticking by. Molly Picklum, the world champ, just praying for a two-wave set to roll in, but we can't see it coming. Indicators usually gives you a good idea. Usually you're seeing white water start to explode along the stones here, along the rocks, down the point. And it's just not going to happen for Molly Picklum in this instance, but Bettylou put the pressure on early. Couple of huge rides, an 8.5, backed it up quickly with a 7.83, and then she's been able to guard this lead with priority and shut Molly Picklum down.
What a performance. Great heat. Molly Picklum dips out, and Bettylou Sakura Johnson just looking on point. She only rode two waves, and they were, well, one was excellent, one was almost excellent, but a 16.33 scoreline, and she's moving through to the semi-finals.
Through to the semis for the first time this year, and she will be taking on the winner of the next heat, which is an absolute showstopper. Carissa Moore, Caroline Marks will be coming up in the final heat of the day, quarterfinal 4. Stick around, it's going to be a big one, and we've got some special guests joining the Starling sisters in the booth.
This is Raglan. Beautiful Mount Karioi. This is our local mountain. It's meant to be a lady. It looks over us from time to time. I've driven around the mountain and we're probably like 20 minutes from Manu Bay. We're on the south side of Raglan, driving to a beautiful spot right of our falls. Just walked through the beautiful little forest to the top of the waterfall. Favourite sounds in the whole world. Amazing. The sounds, beautiful. There's no noise, just the water falling, the animals. It's very peaceful. I listen to that every night. It's still quite raw and untouched, and it reminds me of how beautiful this place is. It kind of gives me a moment to just sit back and appreciate it all.
Can't help but love the place that Billy Stairman gets to call home. This is Raglan Whaingaroa in Māori. It means the long journey. It took a while for Tainui Waka to find land, but when he did, he stayed. And we are so lucky to be here celebrating surfing in a new location in the 50th year of the World Tour. Welcome to the Corona Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy. My name is Jessie Starling. I'm joined in the booth by my big sister True and a very special guest, Matt Baiolas. Welcome in, Matt.
Hello, girls.
Hi. Now, this is a very big heat on our hands. We have two of your surfers in the water right now.
Yeah, I'm very unbiased in my opinion.
I hope so. Truzy, we've seen the surf just absolutely turn on through the afternoon, and it feels like these two women are absolutely going to score.
Yeah, it feels like that. I mean, the last few days of competition that we had, a few days ago, it's been a while, we had those beautiful afternoon glass-offs, and we had that sunset coming in. It was picturesque, and I feel like this is a really great heat on paper to close out the day. And Carissa Moore and Caroline Marks, they've been on fire at the moment. Two different approaches, a goofy versus natural attack, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they go. And right away, we'll go straight into replays for Carissa's first one, and she's taking her time, gaining some speed. Love this view of the first wave of Carissa Moore. Beautiful first turn there, gets her fins free, and again for a second one, Carissa is really lighting it up. You can see going to the rail as that wave starts to fatten out a little bit. Carissa just standing on the tail, waiting for this one to open up, and she's just looking lethal at the moment. She had a beautiful heat before, and that first turn just packed so much punch. You can see her fins on her bottom turn as well, just how much she's leaning into the rail. So she's opened up strong. She's asking a lot of Caroline Marks, who's answering back quite quickly, surfing with a lot of speed, goes to the rail. Wow. Beautiful opening turn for Caroline. Wow. Leans into the rail once again, and this is going to be an exceptional heat because straight away, 5 minutes into this one, we've got some big scores, Jessie, and some great combinations there from both of those women.
Yeah, this was always going to be the heat of the round. Just both of these ladies so dedicated to the sport. I see the scoreline 7-6-7 for Caroline Marks to kick off her heat here. Carissa Moore, she's going to lock in a really great score as well. Some judges going into the 9-point range for her scoreline. There it is, the IC scoreline. It's an 8.83. And Matt, that's not a bad way to start for both of your athletes here.
That is definitely not a bad way to start for each of them. You got like a 1-point gap between the two, both incredibly good scores. And I mean, what Carissa just coming out the gates with a damn near a 9 is pretty exceptional.
She has just been finding such incredible flow here. These two ladies have met 11 times in head-to-head matchups over their career, which if you've got to think, it's actually kind of a short while with Carissa taking a step back over the last few years. And Caroline actually really hasn't been on tour for a really long time in the scheme of things compared to someone like Steph or Carissa. So 2 of those 11 matchups actually went to Caroline over at Trestles, where she won her world title in 2023. And Matt, that would have been a really bittersweet moment to go against those two girls at Trestles.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna meet up and it's gonna in the finals, you can't really complain about it when they meet up in the final. You just gotta go. You just got to go with the rhythm and embrace it. I mean, these two, obviously, they're both, not only world champions, but they're both Olympic gold medalists. And, Carissa's obviously the most successful surfer that I've ever worked with in my career. And following along on her journey and her ride is it's unparalleled.
She's also the kindest human ever. It's really cool to learn about that over the last couple of events. She is just so sweet. But then you put her in a rashi and she's absolutely vicious. And this was such a great first wave here, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of taken the backhand turns in the pocket a little bit higher than anyone else throughout the day, those first couple turns, and she was rewarded for it right out the gate. And she's been riding a little squash tail epoxy all week. I think she's still on it, which is kind of counter to what most people are doing with this wind blowing into their face. Now you got Caroline, who looks as tack sharp as ever. You know, maybe her wave just wasn't as big as Carissa's, but the surfing was right there.
When you watch these heats and you see both of these ladies surf, are you making minor notes in your head about equipment as you're watching it live?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, my job's over. There's no making changes mid, right here. But yeah, I'm here to watch and be a part of it and support all the girls and all the guys and experience the whole place.
Now tell me, I'm really intrigued. When I found out you were coming in the booth, I was like, oh my goodness, the list of questions is going to be long. Really? Is he coming in? No, I'm kidding. But I'm really interested. Is Carissa or Caroline, are they really involved in the shaping and just the finite details of their equipment?
They are both fairly similar. I would say over the years, Carissa's been more particular. Carissa, we started with both girls at 15 years old.
Wow.
Obviously, 8 or 9 years apart. But, it's a journey. They start out kind of like most of the talking goes through the parents or the coach. But as they evolve and it becomes more one-on-one and they get a voice of their own and give the feedback and everybody gets comfortable with each other. But, yeah, I mean, the girls tend to be not quite as particular or violently critical of their boards as some of the guys do.
I love that. Just some feedback where you're like, oh, ouch, that one hurt a little bit. But these two, both having gold medals and world titles, I mean, that speaks volumes to the equipment, of course. But I got to know, obviously, Caroline won her world title over at Trestles, and we've heard Sawyer say consistently throughout this event that this wave really reminds her of Trestles. Is there much difference in between their equipment, well, Caroline's equipment between Trestles and here?
No. The boards that Sawyer and Caroline are riding, they're both two goofy footers who put in numerous hours at lowers, especially Sawyer. She was born and raised at lowers. They're both kind of playing around with little squash tails right now, which is sort of new. They're both kind of grown up on round tails. There's a kind of a resurgence of squash tails throughout the tour. I think Ethan Ewing can kind of get a bit of credit for that and kind of opened everyone's eyes like, whoa, remember this? So they're pretty parallel style boards between the two. And then Carissa's been on a squash tail as well. So it's kind of different these days. It's everybody's searching for the magic potion, but yes, this is like a stretched out version of lowers left.
It's so funny. True and I grew up at North Narrabeen, and it was almost criminal to not ride a round tail at home. It was that you have to be on squash tails. But now, why do you think so many people are leaning back towards a squash tail, especially at stops like Raglan?
Well, in the softer waves or a more hot doggy wave like here at Raglan, having that more surface area behind your back foot, it makes it a bit easier to release the fins and get up in the lip and have a little freedom, which shows flair to the judges. It shows risk, so you don't have to push quite as hard to get that release, to get that flair. The bottom turn on a squash square tail you can kind of square it up and pivot off of it, sometimes a little bit tighter, especially the way everyone surfs so back far on their tail nowadays. But it's been a resurgence just in the last year or two, and like I said, it's really been spearheaded by the kind of carving and surfing that Ethan's been able to do on squash tails.
I love it. We need to bring that back to Narrabeen. Bring back some squash tails.
I always surf Ally Wrights.
Yeah. Love the Wrights. Love the Wrights.
Jesse and
I
I
heard
were,
the bank is good at the moment too.
Yeah, we were gremlins out there for sure, trying to just do circles around everyone and not getting much.
Bettylou took out an incredible heat win in that last one against Molly Picklum, a long-time sparring partner. She's down there with Vorno.
Bettylou, congratulations. This is an amazing afternoon. Beautiful conditions, absolutely firing waves, and you just took down the world champ.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was really fun. I think I just tapped into enjoying it, and yeah, I was just really present in the waves that I received and just started reacting, and yeah, I had a great time.
You had a great time, but we had a great time too, because some of the backside surfing you did in that heat is by far the best we've seen in this event so far. Your ability to come around the whitewash up vertical into the section and just fully hook it so tight was, you know, getting not just all the crowd on their feet, but the judges excited too.
Oh yeah, frothing on that, honestly, because on my backside's definitely not my strong suit, and I've tried to put in so much time in it, and I'm happy that it's finally coming together.
We got Matt Biolis in the commentary box right now. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your board? Because it's looking bang on.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy and feels magic, honestly. It's a 5.7 driver 3.0, and Matt made it for me right before the whole tour started, and yeah, I love that board. Thank you, Matt.
Semi-finals in New Zealand. Tell us how this is making you feel. I mean, we've seen a lot of chopping and changing in terms of the rankings. It's a great spot to sort of build right into a world title campaign.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't stressing too much about the results at the start of the year. It definitely has been frustrating, but yeah, it's really nice to just tap in and get into the semis and kind of keep building from there and build that confidence back up, and yeah, just keep unleashing and wave by wave.
Congratulations. Amazing heat, you know, flawless wave selection and great performance. Well done.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Thanks, guys.
Such a sweet soul. Bettylou absolutely ripping in that last heat. Caroline Marks a little bit too deep on that one there. You could see it had a nice edge to that wall down the line there. Carissa Moore, she's left out the back. She can have a look. No threat on her priority here. A little bit of a mishap there from Caroline True. She can definitely bounce back with the amount of time we have left, but when someone like Carissa opens up with an 8.83, you know you gotta be on your A game.
Yeah, I mean, no harm, no foul for Caroline, though. It's, you know, she saw an opportunity and wanted to convert, and I think if you're in a position where you can play around, then you may as well be curious and give it a go. But yeah, I think, you know, looking back to that last heat of Carissa's against Lakey, Jessie and I, we got to talk about it. You know, it took us back to Leave a Message days, and, you know, like thinking about that and her part in that, and the song Misery Business, Jessie and I would listen to it in the car, you know, and it was really cool to see that. And I think, you know, the difference between Carissa and Caroline right now and where they're at in their career, it's really cool. And you could see Caroline, she was hustling for this one, but a little too deep, and it's okay to make these mistakes a little bit earlier. She pulled out. She's like, you know what, I'm just going to get back out the back, reset. And I feel like in situations like this, when it is slow and when things do happen where you have to just really, you know, bring yourself back, it can get a little bit head noisy up there. And I don't know, for yourself, Matt, and working with Carissa and Caroline for so long, and you might see the behind the scenes moment between these two. Is it, you know, are they a bit head noisy? Do they get really down on themselves in moments like that?
I mean, I think most competitors do. I know that both of these girls have had their ups and downs, and you get self-doubt, you know, but I mean, maybe Gabrielle Medina doesn't ever happen.
Fair.
But, you know, these are true competitors. They're, you know, they're from a generation apart, so they're not like head-to-head. They're just kind of both on their own journey at different times in their career. And they're both, you know, extremely successful at what they do, but they've both battled with self-doubt and wondering, you know, if they have what it takes at any given time. You go through ups and downs in any career, but especially sports.
And even, sorry, Jessie, where they're at right now with Carissa being on tour and being a mum and not really being able to switch off, whereas Caroline can have those moments of downtime. You know, it's really interesting. They're on the same tour, but it's a completely different mindset for the two of them, right?
I mean, we've spent time with both girls this week. We went around and did tourist stuff and went surfing with Caroline. We had a barbecue over at Carissa's, and it's definitely different when you're here with your husband and your you know, newborn, essentially. It's a different way of going about an event. It hasn't really been done, at least that I know of. I mean, she's like holding her baby 5 minutes before the heat, paddling out and dropping, you know, 8 bombs on people. So it took her a few events to get moving, get some momentum, but the surfing she's doing right now is, you know, it's unparalleled. It's on a par with anyone.
She had her first ever career win on her rookie year
over here in New Zealand, just over at Taranaki, not too far from here. But with these results, we're starting to see a bit of a shake up in the Surfboard Empire Shaper rankings presented by Veja. Now we've got a really cool update going on. So right now on the men's side, we've got Griffin, Yago and Cole in the quarterfinals. You're guaranteed one already in the semifinals. And on the women, no matter what, you're guaranteed one in the final, because with Bettylou winning that semifinal, whoever she gets in this heat, you're going to have a board in the final. Potential for a clean sweep here, Matt.
Well, that would be great.
We would love that.
You fly all the way around the world, and it's when things pan out like that, it's fantastic. But when they don't, we take the most we can from it. We've been enjoying, this place, this country, driving around, doing all the tourist stuff. I caught a handful of wonderful waves myself.
Yes.
And here goes Rish.
Rish, she's going to highline. Love the fact that she's dropping that first turn into a really committed first turn here. Second one feels better. Comes through this inside bowl. Is it going to bend back towards her? You can see a step on the tail here. Love the patience, not over surfing it, staying so tight in the pocket here for Carissa Moore. She's going to take this one through. She's not going to mess around with that inside boat ramp there, but just such
unneeded, convincing
surfing from out the back.
Yeah, I mean, that was textbook technique, like lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, the flare she's getting out, the tightness in the pocket, it's yeah, that's some high level stuff.
It's just so cool to see that Carissa, even at this point in her career, is just still setting the bar so high, and she really did so on this wave, Truce.
Yeah, she did. I mean, that first turn had so much power to it. The second one even more. You could just see the grunt and the grit that she had, and he knew that she just wanted to unleash on those moments. And even here, just the patience off the bottom where she needed to be, and there was no kind of weird little bumps in between those turns. It was one line. It was great flow. It had that extra zazz to it, and I think it's going to go higher than 8.83 in my opinion. That those first two turns were legit, and as you're saying, Matt, it took her a couple of events to get herself back into a rhythm, but I feel like she's well and truly in rhythm now.
Yeah, she goes away for a year or two, and it's kind of easy to forget. She's a generational prodigy.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a rare thing, and we're all fortunate that she's, picked up her baby bag and come on tour to do this for us again. It's phenomenal.
Even surfing Ruapuki over the last few days, Riss had come over, and just seeing her adjust her mindset to be mum and switch off so quickly is really cool. Caroline, so sharp, just looking so locked on, really pushes hard on that third turn here. Another swoop, nice tight calves. That's a better looking turn here for Caroline Marks. Opens up the shoulders, drives through a longer extended carve, twice through this inside section. There's the third one. Can see, I love both of these ladies not surfing out of the pocket. They're staying so tight to the foam and the top of the lip line there. Both of these ladies is technically flawless on those last two waves, True.
How was that? That back-to-back action, hey, I'm going to do this. Okay, cool, I'm going to do that better. That constant push and pull, the real challenge between these two women right now, it's loud and they're proud, and you can see, Carissa, how much she wants it. And then for Caroline as well to answer back without even missing a beat. That first turn was smooth, just a check to really open up. Beautiful connection there. It's this one that I love. She stomps on her back foot and redirects the board. And Caroline, she's got so much spice to her surfing. That turn just really, really speedy, and she surfs with so much finesse. And I think here as well, I like the patience. I like that. Okay, I'm just going to take a minute, see what the wave is doing, and live action again.
Droops the tail around the corner here for Carissa Moore. Goes down on the second. Big scores to lock in for both of these waves. Matt, I'd love your opinion on the both of them. I mean, two really different waves, but it feels like they're both going to be pushing the bar higher right now.
It's really fun to watch, especially for me. I think, once again, Carissa's wave might have been a little better, and she's really connecting with the lip. Caroline's doing this tack sharp pocket, really hard released surfing, But I think Caroline's going to have to like get up into the lip and blow the tail a little bit. She knows how to do it. And maybe Carissa's waves have been a little bigger, and she's connecting with the lip and releasing the tail, and that might be the only difference between the two right now. But it's going to be close. We're going to have a couple excellent scores between the two of them.
We always knew this was going to be such a good heat. I mean, Carissa Moore, we mentioned the Nike Leave a Message film Red Bull just released nowadays that Caroline was a part of, and you touch on those big blowtails. Her part in that film is full of those. I mean, it must be so cool to see your boards not just showcased on the highest stage of competitive surfing, but in groundbreaking new films for female surfing.
They did a great job on that movie. All the girls were ripping. It was well done. We were fortunate to go to LA and see the premiere, and with all the glitz and glamour.
Wow,
and
that's awesome.
The girls were all dressed up, and it's great. You know, it's just it's nice that someone's investing the time and effort to make films like that right now.
I love it. I really feel like that's going to be the lever message for this generation. Taking a look at some scores that are starting to lock in. Carissa Moore, she's going to back up that 883 pretty convincingly too. It's a 733, so she's holding down a good lead. That means Caroline's last wave needs to be an 8.5. Early indications are saying it might not get there. We're going to have to wait and see what that score is going to come through as. Actually, it just drops. It's a 6.7. So Caroline Marks needs an 8.5 with just under 12 minutes to go. We'll be right back after this Bonsoy brew break. New Zealand in all of her glory this afternoon. Fun waves, beautiful green rolling hills, and just a sort of love that is contagious when you come down to Raglan. We've got pumping waves this afternoon. Carissa Moore and Caroline Marks are getting the best of it right now. We've had a couple of big numbers locked in, and it looks like Carissa Moore using up priority here. She's going to tag this first section. Good looking wall down the line. Great looking second turn here for Carissa Moore. There's the third. Goes to the rail, but still such a convincing swoop on the third. Let's see if this one bowls back for her on the inside. You can see a little bit of a wobble here, but it might help her. Gets funky with it. Gives us a reverse through the inside, and that's going to be all she wrote on that wave there for Carissa Moore, but she just looks so comfortable. My name is Jessie Starling. I'm joined in the booth by True Starling and Matt Biolis, but Matt, when you see Carissa doing things like that, she just seems so happy and loose and free.
She's having fun, but she has to be careful. Caroline gets a set wave and does her thing. That 8.5 is very attainable.
Now, you also have a lot of family in your business as well. Your daughter, Ryder, an incredible artist, and a lot of the designs we see on the boards actually painted by Ryder.
Yeah, especially the girls and Mason. Mason Ho loves to get the wild stuff from Ryder. Cole does a lot of like over-the-top stuff, so she enjoys it. She's been doing it since she was like 5 or 6 years old, since day one. And yeah, my son works in the retail stores and in the factories, learning the trade. So yeah.
I love it. Family all amongst the business. Truzy, this last wave of Carissa Moore.
How's this turn? Oh, you can even see that extra little bit that she gets on that first turn. Carissa is really opening up right now, and I love this backside, just fierce approach that we're seeing from Carissa right now. It's not very often that you see consistent lefts and you see her having fun as well. Even that big smile, Carissa's enjoying her time, but this turn was so smooth and that extra drift. I love that. I love that extra bit and straight off the bottom, really opening up the shoulders. Beautiful technical surfing from Carissa Moore, and even just finding those little moments to really just draw everything back, stay in the power source, and it's why we're seeing big numbers from Carissa Moore.
Yeah, another excellent score locked in at 8.23. That is Carissa Moore's 16th excellent score in New Zealand. She had 12 in those 4 years that we ran at Taranaki, and she's had 4 in this event alone. I just feel like she's catching fire here. She just seems that she's got a great connection with this place, Matt.
On the detail side, if you look, what she's doing is she's setting her turns up. She's bottom turning from behind the section. Her bottom turns are from like around the whitewater. So she's attacking from so deep. She's going up into the steepest part and then turning with authority. Blowing the tail, which kind of slows down her down the line. She drops back in and it puts her right back in the pit again. So she's able to do not just 1, but 2, maybe 3 of those turns in the critical part, and they're rewarding it.
The judges are absolutely loving it. 2 excellent scores. She's dropping a 7.33. She looks like she's going to have a swing again, not overly convinced, but you can tell this afternoon the wind has pushed to a nicer offshore, but it's not even a strong wind either, and it's just starting to absolutely pump this afternoon, Trues, which is good signs for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I even think today, as the day went on, we were pleasantly surprised with the conditions staying as they were, and even some bigger sets rolling through. And there was a few people I'd spoken to out and around on the site, and they were a little bit worried about the last few heats of the women, but look at this. I mean, it's glassing off right now. It's doing classic Raglan style, and Carissa's doing what she does best, and that's just attacking the lip exactly when she needs to. And as you were saying, Matt, finding that approach and bottom turning right by the whitewash. I mean, she's getting 2 turns more in those critical parts of the wave than anyone else is, and it's really allowing those, you know, the judges to go excellent. And I love when you see Carissa have fun, because it's amazing to watch, but as a competitor for Caroline right now, it's kind of deadly.
There you go. There's Daddy-O and the little one. They're enjoying the show.
Gabby Bryan as well, quickly become one of Carissa's best mates on the road. And I just feel like there's been such few women that have had children, been on tour, had children and come back. Obviously, Lisa Anderson, one that really comes into mind because she was really the first to do it. But for Carissa to come back in this form, I feel like she's really blown everyone out of the water, that she's come back almost, if not better, than what we saw before, True.
And I think it's inspiring for everyone else. I mean, you think about Tatiana Weston-Webb and Joanne Defay as well, you know, they're on a similar path. And I think for Carissa to come back how she is, even better, it's exciting. It's an amazing thing for the sport. But it's also, you know, exciting for those little girls that look up to Carissa Moore, that want her to be on tour, that want her to win another world title. And it actually looks like she wants it too. I don't know what the talk is like in the shaping bay and if that's what she's after, but with surfing like that and that aggressive approach, it seems like she's wanting another one.
Yeah, I mean, she's a competitor. She's here to do the best she can. I mean, it's the ultimate goal for every one of these women on tour and every one of the men. But, you know, an event win would be a good start. It's a long year and there's a ways to go before you start talking about world titles.
So Carissa Moore so far has had the highest heat total in every single round so far. 16.34 in round 1, 15.33 in round 2. Now her best yet, a 17.06. The very first year that she won here in New Zealand, she had an incredible heat total in the final against Sally Fitzgibbons. She had a 19.16 heat total in the final. That's almost as good as it gets. 9.83, backing it up with a 9.33. She's finaled 3 times here in the past. I mean, what's to say she can't do it again?
Yeah, not much. Seems like she's on the right path as well. I mean, almost getting into the semi-finals, but Caroline, you know, we look at the surfing that we saw in the 767. If she gets a bigger wave or finds more of a critical section and does that same surfing, there's no reason why she can't challenge.
I want to see her have a go.
Yeah, I agree, you know, and that she's got priority. There's 3 minutes to go. There is still room for drama, and there is still room for that shift and that change. And yeah, Caroline in nowadays was just going absolutely crazy, doing some huge fin blasts, and I want her to bring that in her competitive, you know, story as well.
Caroline, she's also just such a competitor. I just love that she's so driven to be her best, and it was a cool piece, I believe, on Red Bull or maybe Stab, that someone asked Katie Simmers, out of all those girls in the Red Bull nowadays, out of which woman do you think will win the most world titles? And Katie Simmers said probably Caroline. She's just so creative and just so consistent when it comes to surfing, and a lot of people say she doesn't really fall a lot, which it's so good to have a surfer so reliable on the team. She right now needs a 9.39. Carissa Moore, another wave under priority here, having fun and giving us another reverse to start it off. Puts it up into the lip line again, and this one looks like it has a fun inside bowl down towards the boat ramp. She's going to kick out because there's not much more she really needs to do. I felt like Carissa at this point isn't really invested in the competitive strategy. She's just enjoying surfing. But Caroline, she knows exactly what she can do, and you can't put a 9.39 past Caroline Marks if she gets the wave here, Matt.
Absolutely not. But she needs a set wave. She needs a bomb. And she's going to, you know, sit there and wait, and she's going to either get it or she's going to wait for the time to run out. There's no other choice.
Working pretty closely with Luke Egan this year, has been for a couple of years as well. Those two seem to make a really great team, and Luke, I believe he's actually won here before, back when it was a QS here, so he's got knowledge that she can really lean onto. 1 minute to go though. She's got 60 seconds to try and get herself the best score of the women's round so far, a 9.39. Like Matt mentioned, it has to be a set wave here. If you look up to indicators, you'd hopefully see a couple of sets rolling through. It is so hard to know, but there's constantly lines, but it's a special type of wave that Caroline is chasing here. She looks like she's gonna have a swing at this wave. It has a good amount of size to it. Maybe not the biggest set wave. Let's see how the shape goes here for Caroline Marks. Yeah. Good first turn. Let's see her drive hard into a second one. Maybe just slightly missed time. That's a better looking third turn here. She's gonna put it on rail for the fourth. Let's see it bowl out through the inside. Caroline Marks is going for a big section here. This is what we wanted to see from her. There's that big blowtail. Drifts the fins again. She's giving this wave absolutely everything here. This wave is gonna keep on going through the inside. She's just gonna keep tagging it, because why not? Caroline Marks needs a 9.39. Matt, I'm gonna start with you. That there really is not much more she could have done on that wave.
Amazing. Yeah, it reminds me of the finals a couple years ago, the wave she had against Katie Simmers, that just surfed it to the very top of the potential. That was fun to watch. That was amazing. That one turn is, she did what we were talking about earlier, just laid into it, just pivoted off the lip. It's fantastic.
True initial feelings?
That was an amazing heat. That's her only feeling, is that was an amazing heat. What a heat to end the day. I mean, incredible surfing from Carissa. Caroline just not even missing a beat by the end of it. I mean, a 9.39 is a big ask. Let's take a look at it. Let's review it. Great first turn. She's got that real slice. Just the patience through there. A little mistimed, as you said, Jessie, but it didn't matter because the rest of this was just perfectly timed. Open up the shoulders there. Another nice connection. And then we see her open up good
Yeah.
turn through there. I love that. You can see her coming down the face of the wave too. I mean, Caroline Marks is on a tear at the moment, and a 9.39 is what she needs. Another good connection. This wave just offers more and more, and she just is really wringing it dry. I mean, she's trying to get everything out of it, and it's going to be a big score, but it's a question mark if it's a 9, Jessie.
You can see she's trying to listen in to see what she got. Score has dropped in. There's the IC score line. It's an 8.37. She needed a 9.39, but I mean, you got to be happy with that. You get a wave, you give it your absolute everything. You still go excellent. Might not be the number, but Caroline Marks did everything she could have done there, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect surfing, one little bobble, but I don't think, even if she nailed that turn, I don't think it would have gone to a 9.4. But, I mean, it kind of started with a 1-point differential between the two, and it ended with a 1-point differential. They both got excellent heat totals. It was fantastic, blow for blow. And neither, you know, Caroline can't, she's not going to walk away overly upset with that.
Yeah. The one thing we can all agree on is their equipment looks great under their feet. Matt, I've got so many more questions for you, so we'd love to get you back in the booth potentially another time. But just to see your athletes doing what they do at one of the funnest left-hand point breaks must be such a privilege.
It's great. I'm so happy to be here. We went to Snapper. We flew down here. We're here for this event. I got a good portion of my family here with me, a lot of friends. I've had some longtime friends here in New Zealand, and to be here with all the surfers and doing all the tourist stuff and catching a few waves, it's just a fantastic place.
It's honestly so fun to come to New Zealand and check out everything. Thank you so much for coming in the booth and chatting with us, Trues. Don't go anywhere. We've got the post show coming up, so stay tuned. Richie Lovett is coming in to talk about what has been a great day of surfing. We'll be right back for the Corona Cero post show. Welcome into the Corona Cero post show of what has been such a fun day of waves. The waves finally showed up. This is what we've been waiting for. Really fun raglan, 3 foot, couple of 4-footers cooking. And there is Mum coming in to her husband and her little daughter, Carissa Moore, with a very convincing win in that last one, going to the second highest heat total of the women's side of the draw this year. It's 17 points plus for Carissa Moore in that last one. But look at this beautiful afternoon down here at Manu Bay. We just love when the waves show up here. It really is such a fun wave. It's a fun new location to come to, and we get to chat about what has been a great day of surfing. My name is Jessie Starling, joined in the booth by Richie Lover and True Starling. The waves finally showed up, and the surfers really put on a great performance today, Richie.
It was amazing, really refreshing to see the break light up again, and the surfers just going to town, both on the men's and the women's side. We got the late Arvo glass off, and Carissa just went mad in that final heat.
Truzy, we got to grow up seeing really fun lefts our whole childhood, but now to be on a point break and seeing the world's best surf at a left-hand point break, it's kind of what we dreamed of growing up.
Yeah, I think, you know, hearing that Raglan was going to be on the tour stop, I was like, okay, let's bring it on. I mean, I love having a left, I love surfing my backhand, but seeing the world's best do it, it really inspires you to want to try and mimic their surfing. And I think as well, you know, this event, we've seen some incredible backhand surfing, but some different approaches from some of the people, thinking Iago Dora and his frontside approach and those huge calves he was laying down today was next level.
It's been pretty fun to see the goofy footers actually get to showcase their frontside, and Iago doing what we usually see Felipe do on his forehand, but it feels like he finally gets this moment where he can showcase what he can actually do.
Yeah, absolutely. World title performance from Iago Dora today, and it almost feels like there's a lot of energy around Medina and Felipe and a couple of the other competitors, and Iago's just going about his business in a real timely fashion, real casual, really smooth, but there's a lot of intent behind what he's doing, and he's been actually laying down some of the biggest numbers in the entire event. So great to see him move through the quarterfinals. Cole Hauschman, another one. Italo Ferreira, another one for the goofy footers, really showing some great surfing today.
So many incredible goofy footers. One of the natural footers that has been such a standout, I was just talking about her, Carissa Moore, with an incredible heat this afternoon. Just such class from this lady here, Truzy.
Oh, she was just on fire. I mean, the approach, the aggression, the attack, just everything was so concise. And that word intent that you said before, Richie, that's exactly what you could see from Carissa Moore, and the intent was to hit the lip, and that's exactly what she did. And she took it to Caroline in that. She really stamped her authority, and the timing of her turns, the placement of her turns, just everything was next level.
Yeah, really controlled performance, wasn't it? And she was showing us something different again from the backhand surfing. You know, a lot of top to bottom snaps, that figure 8 line that we always reference. But Carissa was kind of carving through the lip on a lot of her turns, but her timing was just on point, showing us a little bit of flair at the end. I love the old school cheese whiz, a little air reverse, not the air reverse, but a little reverse at the end of her wave here. It was kind of fun as well. But I mean, again, the conditions were absolute bliss this afternoon. And Carissa, that's a couple of final heats that she's had now through the event, where she's been the benefactor of these beautiful conditions, and she's stepped up and shown us great surfing.
I'm just so looking forward to what we can see her do in the rest of this draw. Caroline Marks put up an incredible fight in that heat too, Richie.
Yeah, she did. We always knew this one was going to be a battle, and just looking at the heat totals there, 16 points and going down, you know, that stings, but there's also a little bit of a consolation prize in that. Her surfing is looking really, really good. So, yeah, some great numbers there, and bummer for Caroline, but, you know, great to see Riss move through to, I think, what is her first semi-final of the year.
Yeah, it is. And let's go speak to the lady. She's with Bono on the glass.
Carissa, every time you paddle out here at Manu Bay, the wind drops off, the sun comes out, the waves start pumping. It's manna from heaven, and you are having the time of your life. I mean, you have top scored every round you've been in, and just then you just put on another masterclass of backside surfing.
No, thank you so much. I'm just having a ton of fun. And like you said, this place has a lot of mana. And it does feel a little magical. And I'm just, hopefully I can keep riding it.
Your connection to this wave is really something special. Like, we're watching you do really beautiful squared up surfing where a lot of people are trying so hard to find that little moment. Tell us what it is about this wave that just fits with your surfing.
Oh, I don't know if it fits with my surfing. I'm trying my best. It is a very tricky wave. Like, it looks like a perfect point break, but there's so many different nuances to it. And I'm just trying to stay in the pocket, trying to find those little moments. But it actually reminds me a little bit of two waves that we have at home, or a couple waves at home. When I was back for the last week, I surfed bowls, kiwalos, and a little bit of cliffs, and it feels like a combination of those.
I think that maybe have something to do with it. Tell us about your year so far, because the results haven't necessarily come in the way that you would have liked, but we know how much work you did put in the off-season. Obviously, traveling with a family has its challenges, but have you been able to sort of just trust in the process and have faith that, you know, surfing like this would come?
I think motherhood has really tested my faith and my trust in myself and finding confidence in new ways. My preparation looks so different than it used to. I mean, I'm not first out in the mornings anymore. I'm kind of coming down an hour and a half before my heat, and I am taking care of my daughter and working with my husband, and my dad's here this one. And so the dynamics are definitely different, and I'm just trying to like let go and have a little bit more fun. I would be lying if I said I'm not as competitive as I used to be in those first few events, and the results weren't frustrating, but I'm learning, I'm finding some momentum. I think I'm figuring it out as I go, and I don't know, I'm not putting as much pressure on myself. I'm just stoked to be in the mix with these women still.
Totally. And just finally, you know, Steph, what she did at the Gold Coast was something everyone was just writing. Obviously, coming back from time away, that is an inspiring performance, but now that you and Steph own the top heat scores of the entire year, I mean, that's pretty amazing.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, Steph is like one of my biggest inspirations and heroes, and still is. And what she did at Snapper was so cool. I think for all of us as surf fans, and just gives you a little hope that maybe I could do it too.
Well, you've got a great heat coming up as well. Bettylou, it's 4-0 to you so far. Obviously, there's probably been a little bit of space between. Oh, when was your last heat actually? This year?
We haven't had a matchup yet this year.
2023 quarterfinals. Okay, so how looking forward to that are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Betty's surfing, and she's from Hawaii as well, and she represents well, and so she's looking great. I feel like she's definitely someone who's in the flow with this wave as well, so it's going to be tough, but I'm just stoked I made it to a semis.
Carissa, have a look around. This is a full Saturday afternoon crowd who are down here to watch you compete. They love you here, and you know, we saw you coming in, giving everyone a wave. The crowd on the hill was just as loud as when you were surfing. Really enjoy the rest of this event.
Thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been down here, and also to my family and friends, my husband, my dad who are here, my daughter, and my sister who also came down to support.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gosh, she's just such a major inspiration to have won so many world titles, then had a baby and come back on tour and being so open about just competitive surfing looking a little bit different. It just feels like she'd be inspiring women across the world who she's proving that you can have a career after having a child. That is the coolest thing ever.
Oh, it's awesome. And I think, you know, you hear that reaction as well from the crowd down here. They're cheering for Carissa because they love her, and she is still so relevant and such a stalwart of the sport, you know. And I think this different viewpoint of Carissa's at the moment is awesome, but I think you still see that competitiveness, and I'm really interested to see this heat between her and Bettylou, because Bettylou was saying, you know, that the young guns are coming up and we're going to take over these, you know, these veterans, I guess, of the sport, and it's going to be cool to see this dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah, I just feel like she's really rewriting the script for professional athletes and having a career in professional sport after having children. I love it. I love watching her journey. I'm really invested in that next heat. But let's talk about some more surfing. Sawyer Lindblad was an absolute powerhouse today, and she put on an incredible show up against Tyler Wright here. It's no easy task here, Richie.
No, Tyler's on somewhat of a comeback, really, and self-confessed not overly confident on her backhand. She knows that that's sort of the Achilles heel of her whole repertoire, but I mean, it looked pretty damn good to me. She sort of produced some great surfing in this heat, but Sawyer Lindblad was on another level. She just got, she picked the best waves and did this front-hand style of surfing that was so great and versatile, kind of channeling the lowers left. It's almost like you put 3 of those lowers lefts together and you get this wave. So feeling really, really comfortable, but powering through these turns, really staying up high on the wave, but mixing it up, some quick snaps, the cutbacks, everything, kind of had it all. And this was quite a dominant performance in the end.
Sawyer came in, I got to do the post-heat interview with her and I said flawless performance. I mean, Micro was so happy after this heat win, Truce.
Yeah, I even got to chat to Micro during that heat as well, and he was saying, you know, she's cool. Like, she just wants to surf and have fun and have that different approach, and she's a real responsive athlete as well, you know. She's ready for all the feedback. She wants it. So Sawyer Lindblad was on a tear.
You can see big heat total for her as well. 8.33, 7.93 is the backup. Tyler Wright, unfortunately out of the draw, but I feel like she's going to take confidence out of knowing she can get good results on her backhand here, even though she's not super confident in it, Richie.
Yeah, absolutely. She's obviously been doing the work because it did look good. You know, the backhand was on point, but Sawyer was just on a tear, and I think she meets up with Alyssa Spencer, which is going to be a really, really cool semi-final.
Yeah, guaranteed a goofy footer in the final and guaranteed a natural footer in the final. So it really is going to be this goofy v natural footer battle all the way to the end. One of the natural footers in that is Bettylou Sakura Johnson, who had a really hard heat against Molly Picklum, but these two are becoming really great friendly rivals here, Truce.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see it. It's cool to watch, and for Bettylou taking down the world champ, it's huge. And I think the surfing, the timing, the style, Betty's on fire at the moment, and it's cool to see, you know, even just the technique in her performance at the moment. We had Matt Violas in the booth during the last heat of the day, and Betty got to, you know, really talk about her board and thank Matt for how much he's put into her equipment, and also how important it is on tour, and, you know, those fine-tuned moments. And Bettylou is just looking on fire, and I think in a position where she's really holding Molly on the ropes is a real kind of feather in the cap.
I feel like Molly was touted as one to probably win this event, just with how convincing her backhand is, but I love that Bettylou just took her to honor in this heat.
Yeah, for me it was probably, you know, on par with Carissa's performance in the last heat. It was actually flawless. There wasn't too much she could have done other than what she did on the waves that she had. She only stood up twice. Both the times she converted. Wave choice was excellent. And I was actually chatting to Tommy Witts, and he just goes, look, we've been working, doing a lot of video analysis, and just getting Betty to sit on that bottom turn for a little bit longer so that she has more speed off the top, and then really extend and explode off the top. So she's been really analysing that and working with it, and great to see it coming to fruition.
Yeah, super convincing performance. Went excellent herself. Another excellent heat total here for Bettylou. 8.5, 7.83. The reigning world champ, Molly Picklum, out of the draw. She's sent packing to El Salvador. So this now sets up our semi-finals, which is going to be pretty impressive when you look at just how good they are. We mentioned an all goofy foot matchup in semi-final number 1, all natural foot in semi-final number 2. Richie, your pick of the two?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
I am.
Look, the top half of the draw, the semi-final number 1, Alyssa and Sawyer, in my opinion, sort of 2 out of 3 of the best, most improved on the women's side. I'm going to throw Luana Silva in there as well in terms of those 3 women and just how far they've come over the last 12 months. I'm going to give the nod to Sawyer in the first one, and then the second one I'm not going to go near.
I'm staying so far away from it. Great, because that means True can pick a winner for semi-final number 2.
Well, actually, I was thinking a full blue clean sweep. I think Carissa's going to take it. She's looking extra. Just there's something extra there to her, an extra little sparkle. You can see it in her eyes as well. And yeah, she's also in my team, so no bias there. But
oh my goodness, 100% bias coming out of True right now. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, the women were incredible, but so were the men today. And one of the heats that we were waiting for was this heat. Gabby Medina taking on Felipe Toledo. We're waiting for this rematch after Snapper, and I felt like Gabby really wanted it, but Phil getting the job done again, Richie.
Yeah, incredible stuff. You know, in the warm-ups, Gabriel Medina has been flawless. He's just been unbelievable, and I think everyone had him pegged as the man to beat here. Perhaps the wave size just a little against him today, because Felipe, again, leaning into that little twin +1 setup. The board just looks so spicy, carries so much speed, and he's able to do those really fast pivoting turns and just carry himself across these waves at just a little bit of a faster speed. And I think it was really apparent in this heat in particular. He just had a little edge on speed. He found those clean walls and just tagged them, had that rhythm. There were no down moments in between the turns, and he got it done. And that is no easy feat in this year. Taking down Gabriel Medina, you have to be dropping excellent scores because, I mean, he has just been so on.
This morning, Vaughan Deadly made a really good point. He said all the guys who have beat him this year have had to surf out of their skin. Think Yago, George, Felipe. But Felipe doing it twice in a row, True, even when Gabby was doing surfing like that is really damn cool.
Oh, it's amazing to see. And I think, you know, we talk about how informed Gabby is, but then we think back to Felipe and then you see this surfing and this approach. I mean, surfing with the speed and the passion there from Felipe is really exciting. And you have to, you know, he's already in the mix in those talking, but he's also looking in form in this event. His backhand is legit.
The 7.93 was the high mark of that heat, and then the 7.5 afterwards. So both top two high scores going to Toledo. Medina out of competition. We'll see him, similar to what we talked about with Molly, over in El Salvador. Still a great looking heat total. I cannot wait for many more matchups between those two. Let's take a look at the men's quarterfinals now though. Griffin, we knew he was in the quarterfinals for a couple of days, coming up against Toledo, who taking down Gabe, you'd have to think is on his way to something big.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking quarterfinal bracket. Griffin and Felipe. Morgan into Rio, that backhand, you know, basically that whole top half of the draw is all backhand surfers, and then Yago, Cole Hauschman, Italo, Miguel, all goofy footers on the bottom half of the draw as well. So we're going to, again, have a guaranteed goofy v regular matchup in the final there. But yeah, that is a beautiful looking quarterfinal bracket.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love that the goofy v natural is continuing on the men's side too, Trues.
Yeah, I do as well. Quarterfinal number 3 for me, Yago versus Cole. I'm really excited for that one. Speaking to Cole in the post heats, he's really cool. He's easy. He's had a bit of fun. He's like, yeah, you know, I've been enjoying some wine with the sunsets and going around. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool approach. You know, he's leaning into the chill side and then firing up when he has to. So I'm looking forward to quarterfinal number 3. I think it's going to be a big one.
After a couple of lay days where the waves were pretty small, it was really refreshing to see the waves roll through today. We're going to take a look at Surfline and see where we can really pick apart what could potentially be a finals day either tomorrow or the next day, Richie.
We know we're going to finish this thing. It's either going to be tomorrow or Monday. But we've, you know, been blessed, I guess, with this swell that just started to show out of the southwest, and we're on obviously the North Island west coast. These swells that march up between Australia and New Zealand. That's where all this energy is coming from. East Coast Australia has been flaring up, by the way. And that swell has been greeting us this morning, which is great. So having a look at Sunday, Monday. Sunday, you know, it's going to be kind of similar to what we had today, and then there's another little peak through Monday. So it kind of goes up and down over the next 2 days. But the winds are the things that we're going to have to keep an eye on. It sort of does pick up over Monday, so we've got every chance that we'll you know, come down and check it out tomorrow, and if it looks anything like it did tonight, I dare say we'll be go time.
That wind definitely looking stronger on Monday as well. So now that we've done so much work, we can really pick and choose those moments to run some incredible heats. A couple of those heats to watch are a couple big matchups. Right now, we got to take a look at, obviously, Griff v Toledo. It feels like that's going to be an incredible heat to watch, Trues.
Yeah, I'm ready for that one. We haven't seen Griff for a couple of days surf a heat, and we saw Felipe today. So I feel like the two of them, they've got a really cool different approach. Obviously, Phil using the 2+1, so a different kind of board structure there for him. And Griffin, he's got such a strong backhand attack, so it's going to be a huge heat for both of them.
Richie, you gave the nod to Sawyer, but we just know that Alyssa, she's chasing a final here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, both these women are chasing their first victory. So that's the other thing that is the real motivator behind this, that semi-final, excuse me. So that one's going to be really cool.
It's cool to see that we can have both of those ladies potentially go into their first win. Obviously, you look at the second semi-final, Carissa, Bettylou, they've had wins before, but potential for a first ever win here, Trues.
That's really cool, you know, and I think for both of Alyssa and Sawyer to have that on the cards is exciting for them. It's almost going to fuel them a little bit more. We know that they're uber competitive as well. Both Alyssa and even Alyssa, you know, seeing her throughout the QS series and things like that, she is just so locked in. And this event, there's something different about her and Sawyer. It's going to be a really cool approach between the two of them. And I hope it's a maiden win. Let's see it.
Years of competitive fire between those two. I cannot wait. Let's have a look at our top 5 moments of the day. There's so many to choose from, but we're going to start off with Bettylou taking home an 8-5 against Molly Picklum here, True.
Yeah, big surfing. I mean, Bettylou is just looking so in form, and her backhand is so strong, and she's finding those real tight pockets, those real tight moments to turn on a dime. Her boards are looking dialed in, and Betty is just on fire at the moment, and 8.5 is huge. I mean, it's one of her best scores of the event, and she's looking so strong, and to take it to Carissa as well is going to be really exciting. Backhand surfing from both of them, and Bettylou, she's ready to go.
It's almost like a bit of a mentor v the apprentice heat coming up in that one. Coming in at number 4 is Italo, who was just so convincing today here, Richie.
So Italo does what Italo does, and he did it today. Just this fast-paced approach, just really versatile in everything that he was doing on the waves today. You know, he was just dipping right into the bag of tricks, going to the air rev multiple times on the one wave, just mixing it up with sort of tail flaring slides and little off the tops. But really, you know, he was just wound up like an Energizer bunny, and I'm sure he necked about 3 Red Bulls before he went out for that one.
Carissa Moore with not 1 but 2 excellent waves in this heat, Truzy.
Yeah, the song is starting to sound a little bit like Misery Business by Paramore. I mean, Carissa she's looking just as good as she did back when she competed here in Taranaki, and she's won it. You know, can she win again in New Zealand? Starting with an 8.83, and having that heat with Caroline as well was really strong. A 17 point, I think it was 06 total as well, was really cool. I mean, Carissa, she's loving the fact that she's able to really show up and shine exactly when she needs to.
I just love what Carissa is bringing over here in New Zealand. Coming in at number 2, Yago Dora went excellent. 9-point ride for this flawless wave here, Richie.
Yeah, some of the best scores that we've seen of the year. Just love that smooth, stylish approach from Yago. Lots of power in it as well. So kind of in contrast to what Italo does, where he's kind of bouncing around all over the wave. There's a more connected approach to Yago, but he does have that ability. When he does these airs, he does them with such impact. But at the moment, just his positioning and flair, it's right on.
And coming up at number 1, the showdown of the Brazilian World Champions. Felipe getting the win on this one, Truce.
Oh, it's like the brothers have just battled it out in the lineup. I mean, for Gabe and Felipe, they've competed against each other for so long, but the approach between the two of them, the difference, the speed, style was really exciting to watch. I mean, to start the day off with Gabe and Felipe going head-to-head is an exciting way to kick back competition. And I mean, you can see the passion between the two of them, both of them going crazy. Gabe going to the air, Felipe sticking to that rail, sticking to the more traditional surfing, but a different kind of vibe on the equipment. And I think, you know, a really exciting way to see where Felipe will go throughout the rest of this event, and having that matchup with Griffin in the quarterfinals is going to be strong.
When was the last time, I can't think other than Josh Kerr on the Challenger Series, that we saw someone on the championship tour on a 2+1, Richie?
It's been a while. Yeah, Kersey's been leaning into it for years now, actually, but it's almost a risk, you know. It's kind of unorthodox equipment, really. You don't see many surfers leaning into it, but it's certainly working for Felipe. I spoke to him after his heat, and he's like, yeah, the boards just feel so magic under my feet, so why wouldn't I?
Obviously, we're coming to the pointy end of the event now. We're really kind of locked in for a finals day, semi-final for the women, quarterfinals for the men coming up. But I think all we've really taken out of this last couple of weeks is New Zealand is incredible. And how good is it to have a left-hand point break on tour, Truce?
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. Bring on the left. I mean, you get to see the difference. You get to see how much fun everyone's having. And I feel like I've seen more smiles from people losing heats this event than any other as well. You know, it's exciting to have that different approach and a different, you know, wave face and people going to the other rail.
Yeah, there's something magical in the air, but the show's not over yet. We still have more heats to run. We have a 9:45 a.m. call tomorrow. Hopefully, we come down and the waves are absolutely pumping, and we maybe crown a winner, we maybe not. We still have an extra day in the window. However, you guys get to enjoy some highlights, and we'll be back for plenty more surf talk and action tomorrow.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.